Do 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 the shooby dooby. Hi everybody that came over from Granny's, I appreciate you, although right now all I see is my regulars, but half of you over there anyway, so
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not. We all share people. So I don't know if any of you caught Granny's stream that just ended. Ben and Jenny and Kitty and Julie with Wine and Reason were on there and having some discussions about different stuff like the Ukraine and trans issues and also issues in the community and uh, and how to deal with it and why it's an issue and what we need to do instead. So while Granny was streaming, I said, well, Granny's about done for the night. She's been up forever, whatever. She's on the East Coast. I'll just continue it over here on mine. So that's where we're at. So I'm going to shut up for a minute and let Ben and Jenny say whatever they have to say, especially Jenny, since she got cut off so many times on that stream.
Yeah.
So Ben, hi. How are you?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm gonna be eating while we're here because I got off work and then went on Granny's stream, so I'm gonna eat. But I'm gonna turn off my camera and my mic, so I'm gonna let you guys talk for a little bit.
Okay, cool. I'll let Jenny talk for a little bit. Jenny, how are you, honey?
I got nothing.
Shut the fuck up.
You know who was
so much to say. Don't you even?
You know who was in the audience for Granny's show? I just found out is just before I came here.
Which
Bo
one?
Of the Fifth Column was there.
Oh, really?
I had written.
I was playing ATS and listening. I missed that.
I had written him a little note because I knew what we were going to be covering. And I told it that this is really important life and death stuff for a lot of us. And I would love nothing more than to get him commenting on this and that sort of thing. And so he actually came over and watched.
See, I don't know who this person is. Hold on. Are they on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure you could play their stuff on air without any problem.
BEAU?
Yep.
Bo?
Of the Fifth Column.
Oh my God, it's the fourth one down. He's got to be really popular.
Oh, yeah. Millions.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Is this him with drinking a beer up in the air too? Is that his 681,000 subscribers? Almost 2,000 videos. Okay, well, he just got a new one. So I will do that. I will sub to Bo.
What are titles on some of his recent ones?
Hold on. That's gonna make me sign in. Hold on. Let's just. Oh my God, it's me every time. Why do you make me answer this? It's always me. Yes, it's me. Okay. All right. Reinforcements headed to Ukraine. Let's talk about why analysts are sure Russia won't win. North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and the Supreme Court. I've seen this guy somewhere. Where have I seen him at? He must have been on someone's stream. I've seen his face.
See if you can find one about Georgia.
Russian, Poland planes in power. Let's talk about truth, lies, and video in Ukraine. Fallout. Ukrainian preparing. About if it would have happened with Trump. Yeah. Shit. Which one am I looking for? What'd you say?
Anything about Georgia?
Oh, Georgia. Okay.
Just in the last couple of weeks.
Shifting public health strategies. Putin. I'm already up to 4 days ago. Man, he put out a lot of shit in 4 days. No wonder he's got so many freaking viewers. Man, this guy has got a lot to say about the Ukraine. I just went through I don't even know, Jenny, 30 videos, and I still can't find anything besides the Ukraine.
No, and any keyword of privacy jump out at you?
I didn't see. I just everything says something about the Ukraine in it.
You can search on their channel. Go to the search bar, type it in.
Okay, hold on. Let me go all the way to their channel then.
I didn't know you could do that.
Oh yeah, everybody's got to search for shit on their thing. Yeah. Sorry about that. It started playing for a second there.
I'm sure he would have no problems with you playing something of his.
Let's talk about what Georgia can teach teachers. Let's talk about social issues. Georgia's
social issues?
Georgia's election, Trump and the Georgia special grand jury. The let's talk about social issues was crap. I don't know when it is. Hold on. Whew. Georgia's election. Hold on, let me see. I put in Georgia and there's a lot of keywords. What was the other keyword you said?
Privacy.
Privacy, thank you. That brought up, let's talk about Trump, Snowden's pardon, and the USPS. I don't fucking know.
Damn. I'm going to have to hunt around and find that one because that one needs to be spread around more.
Okay, so that's a good one, huh? That's one you were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a big sell. He's a former conservative, and it's real clear that he's former military also.
Oh yeah.
But he just has this very measured. He's the epitome of cool. He knows his stuff. He does his homework. He makes just huge amounts of sense. I've never heard him spout anything Looney Tunes or with any kind of insane obsession. It's always just very, very adult, mature, and correct.
Is it Bo of the fifth column? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure I was typing it out right on check because I'm gonna. Not that he needs any subscribers, so please don't subscribe to him if you don't want to. He's got almost 500,000, but I've seen this guy somewhere. I don't know who had him on a show, or if somebody like maybe I don't know. I saw a TikTok or a short video of him or something. I don't remember, but I know I've seen his face in a video or in a stream somewhere.
Play the one about why Russia's going to lose.
Okay, hold on. There's a lot of Ukraine ones.
On and off. He does some good commentary.
Oh, here we go.
So, I know I've occasionally tweeted some of his stuff out.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
He does it in his garage.
He does. Okay.
Or maybe basement. I don't know.
I got to share screen.
Yeah, but at least he's not chained to the water heater.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'll agree with that. Share tab audio. Share. All right, let's see if this works.
Yep, that's him.
Internet people, it's Bo again. So today we're going to talk about math.
Oh.
And me showing.
Can you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Request to show my work on something. And it's funny.
Audience,
I went back and looked,
it?
and I have talked about this over and over and over again on this channel, and I never explained it. I've used this math on this channel before, but never actually broke it down. So we're going to go over it today. And it will explain why there are some people who are very comfortable making, quote, bold proclamations. And the message that I got, it starts off with a giant list of names. And those names that I recognized were defense analysts. It says, these people have all said that Russia cannot win. And then there's another
list. Make sure we're talking a little bit
on this list. And it
in
says,
this so that we don't get flagged for
have said that Russia can take it, but can't hold it.
I like his hat. I think it's really nice looking. And the stuff behind him on the shelves is really, very well organized and nice and clean.
The only way I could hear it was to play it through my computer. I was trying to go. Oh, I'm getting feedback from you, Perps. So I was trying to go back in to get in the settings to fix it, but for some reason I have to play it through my computer.
Well, did you click on the share system audio?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, you guys wouldn't hear it.
Yeah, true.
Anyways, so what do you think about all this, Jenny? I know you guys were starting to talk about it, but I didn't really hear much from you, and I haven't heard anything from Purple about it. So, what are you guys thinking about what's going on with the Ukraine right now?
Well, I think I have a fairly simplistic view. That I haven't put a huge amount of thought into it.
Okay.
I don't see how Russia can not win. They've got all the money in the world. They've got all the weapons in the world. They got all the personnel in the world. Why don't they just get it together and roll through like a tank? I'm surprised they haven't to this
I have
point.
an answer for you. Are you ready?
Sure.
Because they want the territories. And because they want the territory, they want all the industrial stuff. Why do you think they're not blowing up all the industrial? They're not blowing up the port they want. They're blowing up people's houses. So people run and they take over. That's what they're doing. They don't want to ruin the infrastructure. They don't want to ruin the office buildings. They don't want to ruin the port of entry. They want to ruin everybody else, so they'll fucking leave and they can take over. That's what
but all that stuff is just as necessary to running a country as the politics that you have. The infrastructure is what war is all about, to capture infrastructure or to destroy it. And if you destroy it, well, then he's going to be spending a whole lot of time and money rebuilding shit before it's useful to him at all.
Well, and that's the thing. So if you destroy houses, they don't care about the houses. These are a bunch of rich guys. They don't care about the houses. That's what they're destroying. They're destroying the little stuff, the houses and like little towns and stuff. They're not the fucking capital. They want to keep that. That's what they need.
They're wiping out rows and rows and rows of apartment buildings.
I know, because they don't want the people there. They want the people to flee so they can walk in and take over with no resistance. Less damage, less for them to clean up and fix later.
Yeah. I think it's pretty clear that they didn't expect much resistance. I think Putin really thought that if he, put a big force on the border, that Ukraine would surrender without a fight. Because it's clear the Russian army was not really prepared for this. I mean, they keep running out of fuel. They can't keep their equipment supplied.
Check this out. Check out something I heard today. I heard a discussion about this on NPR on the way home. And so they go in Russia, anybody from 16 to 50. There's not a draft. They just go and say, come on, you have to fight. Here's number one. Number one, they have a bunch of fucking people that don't want to be there. And they're a bunch of volunteers that have no fucking training. One of the guys, the guy that I believe was the same video Jenny was talking about earlier, where he walked up to the Ukrainian people and they gave him food and hot tea and they called his mom for him and everything. And he was standing there crying and shoving food in his mouth and he hadn't eaten in 3 or 4 days. He was fucking starving. And, he said that he was told he was going on a training mission. He was going to train and they put them out in the wilderness and made them go fight an enemy. That's what Russia does. And they have their people convinced that Ukraine bombed their own stuff. I heard people on NPR, they're interviewing different people over there, Ukrainians and Russians and stuff. And the Russian one was like, no, the Ukraine did it themselves. We haven't done anything, and I don't know why people are accusing us of this. Putin's great; he hasn't done anything, and the Ukraine people destroyed their own shit just to blame us. People ain't gonna go around destroying their own houses. They might destroy some businesses, but they're not gonna destroy their own fucking house.
That's what
and
Russia's
make themselves
really
homeless
for,
to throw somebody off about Russia. That shit doesn't exist. Oh, now Ben comes around. Fuck off, Ben.
I'm still I'm still cooking my food. I had to make more. Okay.
You know what? So SR, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I've never kicked Ben before. Yeah, I had to do it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Beck can kick me because I have permissions to add myself back in. So
this is wonderful. I'm in bed and I'm naked.
I can kick Beck off. I can kick Beck off his own channel.
You can kick me off my own channel. You fuck! Don't you dare!
I won't do it. I won't do it. I have a good relationship with my bruh.
Man, ain't happening. SR, back off, bro.
Okay. All right.
You encourage that shit.
I guess I just got here. I shouldn't stir too much shit right away, right?
Yeah. Just fall in line. We're obviously talking about Ukraine and stuff.
Yeah.
And so anyways, Jenny, I think you were saying something and I added to it and went on a tangent. So you want to continue what you were saying? I think it was you or Perp.
Well, I would, but I forgot.
Jenny was saying about
quit staring at SR. The infrastructure.
That's really hard. Yeah. That's really hard not to. SR is so beautiful.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, yeah, you guys were, I know right before I jumped on, because I had to mute the YouTube stream and stuff, so I didn't fuck up with the audio, but I know y'all were talking about infrastructure, and I think Purple just mentioned infrastructure as well. And I do think that's one of the things that has been really weird about this whole situation, because it seems very much to me that Putin is not concerned exactly how he gets what he gets. So in this instance right now, it seems to me that if he has to raise everything to the frickin' ground, he'll just do it. He'll just run it over and just crush it into the dirt. But I think, I mean, in terms of his rhetoric, at least, that's where it seems to be over the last few years. But there is a weird inability right now by Russian military units to actually do more in certain capacities, it seems, which is good. I mean, that's fantastic. That's wonderful. That's like the best case scenario, is that the Russian military just actually does not have as many like bullets and working vehicles as they thought they did. But yeah, it's I think if Putin got exactly what he wanted, he'd take the whole damn country and he'd kill everybody he had to. I don't think he would go out of his way.
So now that part I disagree with.
I mean, and I've heard people say he I mean, essentially he's going for ethnic cleansing. I think if every single Ukrainian, which I don't agree with this stance, I don't think they should do this, but if every single Ukrainian was just like walked outside in the morning, got down on the streets, hands and knees, and said, "No problem, Putin, give it to us," I think he'd stop, but I don't think he would care about them. I think he would. I think he just, like, he doesn't have a problem committing genocide, I think, for sure. I don't know if he's, I don't know if he's actively going for it at the moment, but
right.
Even still, it's a terrible situation that there's not a lot of great options, No,
not really, no. Well, that's Ox was saying earlier in Granny's stream that if they gave him the 2 territories and I don't know, the port and something else, that
they would have to recognize Crimea, and they would have to give up those 2 territories. They'd have to officially recognize Crimea,
and they have to leave NATO.
Yeah, or sign an agreement that would state that they would never be a part of it.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, that's essentially, that's you breaking into somebody's house and putting a gun to their head and saying, look, man, all you got to do is give me the kitchen and like a little bit of jewelry and just promise that you're not going to try to cook anything tomorrow. And you're just like, isn't this my house again? Isn't this, that's my kitchen, man. But
well, really, when it comes to it, Putin does not want to kill them all. He wants to enslave them. Because what Beck was saying earlier about the industry, the reason that Russia wants Ukraine back so badly is when the Soviet Union was all one big unified bloc, Ukraine was the biggest producer of military vehicles.
That's interesting.
Well, Ukraine also has this very special position that it is a warm water port. And that's something that Russia lacks completely.
Yeah, and it being so far west, it being obviously much closer than lots of portions of the country of Russia, Ukraine being so much closer to other major world players. I mean, the where Russia stops on the map, folks, and where Ukraine stops on the map, like western close to Germany, Ukraine's obviously closer. That's not new information. And so Putin would absolutely love to have a just a bit closer of a reach, I feel like, into places like Germany and Italy, and just why not?
Who I'm really scared for is all the people in Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania.
Yeah, there's definitely concern there too.
There's this little itty bitty piece of land that is southwest of and touching Lithuania that is part of Russia.
Tiny
and
little.
I'm sure they want.
I drive through it on Euro Truck Simulator.
I'm sure that they want to have a free, quote unquote, pathway to and from that, and that might as well be the entire country of Lithuania.
Yeah, and I think that's I think the biggest issue, because I don't think if some other countries hadn't joined NATO in the last 10 years, I don't think that would have changed anything really. Like I still think just the man himself has this desire to be back in what many people would say is objectively just was a bad time in history and a bad time and place and all of that, right? But I feel like Putin just really, really misses the old KGB days where he was able to just, had a lot less people cared what he did,
Hold on, SR. Hold on. Yeah. Are you saying that morality is objective?
Well, I didn't.
I'm not sure. I have to troll you.
I'm not sure that I exactly said that, Ben, but
no, but I have to be that troll because how I am.
I got you. But you don't have an ultimate, absolute, fundamental instantiation of complete and fuck it.
I do though, because I'm part of the Bob cult, so I do.
You do have Julie the parking lot, so
and I have Julie the parking lot, so I have a I don't know how do they even say it.
I know
I'm bad at being an apologist.
It's a string of nonsense words put together.
I'm a bad apologist.
You are a really bad apologist, man. You really are.
You should apologize.
The big thing that's different now, though, from like in the 80s, though, is it's not so much about NATO as about the European Union.
For sure.
Putin is really afraid of all of Europe acting as one economic bloc.
And they're discussing now about actually doing something about a standing military. I think I heard something get floated.
And there started to be talks about the Ukraine being entering into the European Union, and that's when this all blew up.
I know that, but yeah, it to me, I really do. I mean, I've heard a lot of different people's takes on this, and I feel like have a decent enough grasp as just a layman jackass. But I feel like that there is a problem with the individual himself. And it's just like, if somehow we could have gone back in time and taken like Adolf just out of the situation. And I just literally mean like everything else, like we still have all of, a bunch of bad stuff. But like we just switched the person with another person from history. Like I really do think it would have been dramatically different. And I think like when we saw Stalin lose power and we had a successive, run of different individuals, it was the hold and the grip and the aggression was just totally different. It was on a totally different scale. And it didn't mean that Stalin, because Stalin goes away and then all of a sudden everybody's, skipping through the fields of daisies. Of course not. But like we, especially now with the JFK documents released, we know that was a totally different situation. Like they negotiated that shit for a while, and that is what averted the Cuban Missile Crisis. That is what took the whole notch down. Was they went in secret and were like, dude, this is fucked. We don't all want to die. And then he was like, good point. We shouldn't all kill each other. But we don't have that now because there is no check. There is no balance to Putin. Right. And again, I'm just a jackass spouting my opinion. So
the Cuban Missile Crisis is the first major news event I remember in my life, and it was scary as fuck. Yeah. Everybody, just for days, said, "This is the end. It's going to happen. It's going to."
Oh happen. Yeah, it's true.
It was.
Hey, Beck, can we take the clip off the screen if we're not watching it?
Well, I was waiting for everybody to give me a pause for a second so I could ask if I should keep going or if we're done.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
do whatever you want. It's your show.
Fine.
How can you be so sure? Asking me to show my work. Okay. So we have talked about this concept in relationship to the wild theory about the UN coming here, the idea that Trump was going to use the military to maintain control. We've talked about it in relationship to Iraq and Afghanistan.
I'm going to talk periodically to make sure we're not getting flagged for copyright. So this is commentary.
In 2003.
Well, I'm wondering if that's the stuffed elephant on the side
and
there.
It attempted to determine
stuffed elephant.
So what's the
face
you need
next to
to
the
successfully
YouTube
occupy an area with minimal resistance? And I want you to keep that part in mind. Minimal. I don't have a way to quantify this mathematically, but just looking at Ukraine, I don't think that's going to be minimal. If you're not familiar with Rand Corporation,
Ukraine is the largest country.
If you ever want to know
anything,
it is.
I believe that is a piece of artwork, and I don't know who drew it or what the person is who is in the drawing. I don't know, but it looks like a piece of artwork to me.
I was just going to keep going down the shelf if we didn't have other meaningful commentary to say, because Ben's right. We gotta avoid the censor.
That little thing in front of the elephant, I think, is one of those actual samples of the items on the periodic table.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
like the little that's wonderful.
Yeah,
that's
that
cool.
makes sense. That's true, Guy. If Stalin had solar off grid, he'd never have lost power. That's absolutely true.
Damn. That
is absolutely the truth.
Yeah.
Then Ollie said, and I will read this out since Jenny has trouble seeing it on her little screen. Do you guys think that Putin might have waited another 4 years to do this if Trump had won the election? Yes. I believe it is timed. It's just too perfect.
That's
interesting. It's too perfect because this is what's going to happen. This is my opinion. Another opinion with absolutely no knowledge behind it. This is how I see it. So if he starts it now and we don't do anything, because if we do, it's going to be World War III, right? So we can only do so much. We can send in some aid. We could try to protect some people, but we really can't get into it, right? So this is why they're bringing volunteers over that are ex-military to go over and fucking help out over there, because it's not our military in it, right? Okay. So I think that they're setting it up so everybody sees Biden as being weak instead of intelligent and not wanting to start World War III, and they're all going to try to vote Republican this coming election, and that's going to be that. That's my thoughts on it.
I think like what we found out with 2016 was that, yes, there was a Russian focus, a Russian backed propaganda machine for Trump. The thing was, like, there was also that for Hillary too. And I think the reason for that is probably the same reason that the major corporations in the United States essentially do that. They may give 15,000 to, you know, the Democrats, but they still give, you know, 12K to the Republicans. So more to the Democrats technically. But I the reason you do that is because you I mean, you win, right? Like, that's the whole point. The whole point isn't about, there's no moral compass. There's no, I really care about any of the other ramifications as long as I get to take what I want, right? And so if Trump had been in power, I just think they would have just spun the propaganda differently. Like, they would have just been like, they would have just been like, well, Trump said we could do it. Me and Donald, we talked. Like, it was cool. Yeah. We talked about it. He probably doesn't remember, but it's true. You know,
I was actually thinking that Putin had probably expected Trump to win the election, because I was actually thinking he probably would have done this 2 years sooner if he thought that somebody else was going to be in office.
Yeah.
I mean, I do believe he waited till the Olympics was over, which I didn't even really, I didn't really watch that much this year. But
actually, they found a memo from China asking him to wait until the Olympics was over so it wouldn't overshadow them.
It's a bit of a dick move on your part there, Xi Jinping. Just, I know you're not gonna hit me up and you don't care much about my thoughts, but bit of a dick move there. So, like, oh, you're going to invade another sovereign nation and potentially start a global war with nuclear powers? Can you just, like, wait a week? We have a show.
Commander 401, do you have some documents or stories that explain that, for example, Joe Austin is taking money from Putin? Who, by the way, they say is a very religious man.
Well, that makes more sense why he's such a fucking psycho bastard then.
Well,
sure, he's a religious man. He just believes himself God.
Right. It's his narcissism like has Trump. Just reached. Yeah, like yeah.
Right.
Well, and just the Ukraine kind of dragging everything through the mud has soured a lot of the Russian oligarchs on this too. That they're no longer supporting this. A lot of them are asking Putin to try and find a way to end it.
There was a bounty for Vladimir Putin's head. I mean, technically, the Post said that they wanted him alive, but the picture was just a wanted dead or alive poster. And it was posted publicly on LinkedIn.
Wow, really?
Yeah. I will just if I can, I'll just plug a great channel, In Time, if you don't know it.
Oh yeah.
With Nick, he's wonderful, and
not on time.
Never, God, never. And it's frustrating because I have shit to do.
I keep saying on time by accident. He's like, no, Beck. That's wrong. It's in time. We are never on time. He tells me
I can rub something in right now too, that I met Nick in person.
Oh yeah, because he was
there. Yeah.
Was he wearing that? Was he wearing that famous suit? That $400 suit?
No, he wasn't wearing the suit.
You should. Yeah. Next time you say something to him, just be like, "Hey man, you keeping that nice and pressed? You keeping that keeping that suit nice.
So you're into fashion? Is that the point here?
Well, so there's a joke on the channel about he has a story about buying the nice suit and he's a schmuck and yada yada yada. But no, it's a great place. And they've been talking a bunch about this, but yeah, that was something I heard from them first. A lot of the other stuff, I'm a bit of a news junkie, and so I read a bunch and listen to a bunch of other people talk. But yeah, that one about the about the bounty on LinkedIn, like that's the bold move in my opinion. Like,
yeah, really,
yeah, you could have gone to a lot of other places, man.
I mean, eBay, I don't know.
Reddit probably would have been a better option if you were legitimately. You could have gotten a response a lot quicker.
My gosh. I was just thinking about you today, young man, and wondering how you are. So, how are you? What's going on? Update.
Mm-hmm.
We need an update.
You can also jump in if you want to, Jim. We'll send
you absolutely. If you're capable of doing
let
that,
us know.
Jump. Yeah.
I'm gonna do some study questions while we're chatting because I
out loud
already, and I got to do at least 20 questions.
I never changed my colors on my screen. This is horrible. We got to do something about this.
Wait. Ben said we're gonna play 20 questions.
No, I'm doing 20 boards questions.
Is it bigger than a bread box?
You can do that. You can do some questions with me. They're not gonna be fun for any of you, but they're fun for me.
I mean,
actually, they're not even fun for me.
I wouldn't mind trying out a question or two.
Animal, vegetable, or mineral?
Yeah. Animal,
I have a feeling they will involve a lot of Latin terms that I don't know.
Well, no, these are all cardiology questions because I do have a cardiology test at the end of the month, and I have boards in less than 2 months.
Why does everybody think the heart makes the sound of lub dub?
Onomatopoeia is weird. It's weird.
It is. It is the weirdest word.
Wait, so cardiology is not the study of poker?
Oh no!
You're actually correct.
You can study cardiology. You can learn about cardiology through poker.
Well,
I have to. Oh no, go ahead. I was just going to make stupid puns.
I mean, there are hearts on some of the cards in poker.
Well, Purple, I really have to hand it to you there. Was a full house of a joke, as some people would say.
God, I hated that show.
I was afraid somebody would deck me for it, but
oh God, damn it! It's beautiful. Just a string of puns back to back is one of the greatest things I think about the human race. Like, what other living creature needlessly makes bad jokes like that back to back? Anyway,
who knows? I
mean, it'd be great.
Animals might. We just can't.
I don't know.
Understand it.
It was aces in my book.
Aces. God.
So who's going to be the king of puns?
Look, I can keep going. This is a game in my family. This is a game in my
family. I
am doing comedy since the beginning.
I am the king of puns. Is what I was going to say until Jenny piped in.
Well, they had those cute little stickers, that I heart my dog. Mm-hmm. And, then somebody took off on that and did one of I spayed my cat. But,
wow.
Yeah, but the one for I clubbed my seal just didn't go over.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I love a good. I tell you what, about 10 a.m. every morning at work, I love a good straight flush. It's a fact.
Wow.
Got to start the day off right.
Coco the gorilla could sign her own jokes. They weren't particularly good, but still amazing.
Maybe squirrels. They were good for gorillas. Maybe we just didn't get the cultural reference.
Clear the deck.
Fawnrek, we already used the word deck. Try it again.
Still, though, that was a different context, and it's still good. Like, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna
just lay them all out on the table.
He's got to come up with something better. That's the deal.
What is believed to be the world's what is believed to be the world's oldest written joke is about farts.
That's great. That's awesome.
Somehow.
Oh no, somebody's in the chat.
I saw it. I was waiting for you to see it.
My favorite person in the whole community.
I think that says so much about the human race. I mean, we still giggle about fart jokes, and to think that it's been like that since the beginning of time.
Wasn't it? Was it
well,
Mozart?
okay.
One of like the famous composers or whatever was into like really crass like fart and shit jokes. I think it was Mozart.
That does sound right to me.
It sounds like Mozart. Absolutely, I knew that guy.
I mean, it's
he could play some poker.
To know. He could play some poker.
Palpitations.
I love that. I love that the world of human beings. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, you know. We're all just kind of immature, gross people, and that's great. I love it because like we can connect on that level. I met a guy at a There's some of the only Latin that we have that is actually like how they would have spoken it, because most of the Latin that we have, if not, like 90 some odd % of it is formalized. And so it would have been like the speeches that they would have given in like the Senate. So that wasn't the average Joe dipshit running around talking about stuff. But some of the best stuff that we have is graffiti. And most of it is just dirty jokes or something. Like in Pompeii, we uncovered a bar that even had like, I think still maybe one of the barkeeps like in the back making bread or something, just totally like fossilized or whatever. But
I heard that there's graffiti in the Roman Colosseum also, just chiseled into the stone.
Yeah, and on this particular bar, apparently, just like somewhere underneath the actual like countertop itself area, it just says like, I fucked the barmaid here. And it's like, that's awesome, man. There's a gym somewhere in my area that still has a little scratching somewhere that just says something stupid as well. So that's cool. I feel a connection with that person.
Do you think that like the old time, like cavemen and all that did those drawings, do you think that they made their penises bigger in the drawings?
I think that's the whole point. Yeah.
No, not necessarily, because actually back in like ancient like Rome and Greece, the reason why all of like the statues have small penises was because that was what was considered to be, in vogue. That was actually, if you wanted to insult somebody, you would draw them with a bigger penis.
Right, that's right. It was in vogue back then to which is so strange to me. I think they had just had a bunch of guys that were in charge had little penises, so they made it into a thing. That's what I think happened.
Probably.
I could have been popular.
What's that, Jenny?
I could have been popular.
Well, a lot of social beauty standards come about that way. It's like the foot binding thing in Japan was because one of the princesses was born with a defect. So, what had been a birth defect, because it was the princess, everybody wanted their child to look like the princess.
Oh my God, that's so weird.
White wedding dresses. Like, white used to be very expensive fabric. So wedding dresses, it was Queen Victoria, I believe, got married in a white wedding dress.
It was a sign of money. That's right.
It was a sign of money. And now it's a sign of purity and everything like that. Hell, even fucking engagement rings are a total scam cooked up by the De Beers company, because diamonds have no actual value. It is literally, they just completely dictate the market value themselves, kind of like what OPEC's doing with oil right now.
Yep.
But that's a whole other issue. And they did this whole campaign where they got Hollywood involved in it, of having proposals with a diamond ring, and that got people to start doing it. And then they upped the stakes by saying, 3 months salary, that's what you should spend on an engagement ring. When, again, diamonds, other than in industrial purposes, are worthless. I mean, they really have no value other than what we as a society attribute to them.
I forget the man's name, but he has a whole he did a whole fucking intense investigation and shit on this, and I mean wrote the book on this. And one of the things that he did was he went out and bought like one of the most expensive diamonds he could, you know, with the money that he had on him, so like $1,000 some odd dollars for this diamond, and then walked back into the stores the next day to try to resell it. And they'd only give him like $200. So, I mean, think about that, y'all. In you went to bed and it dropped $800 in value.
Yeah,
but if you were going to buy that exact same cut, clarity, and all that stuff that day, they would have charged you the same price they did the day before.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's almost like, and I know this is crazy, but hang on, y'all. Go with me on this hypothetical. It's almost as if there are some people that have the ability to make a shit ton of money and they don't really care if it's ethical.
Whoa.
Hang on.
What?
I'm telling you. I think so. I think so.
I thought Dr. Oz was like the most ethical person on this planet.
Oh, yeah. He's totally not going after money.
He's totally not trying to get people's money.
No.
This is my shocked face. I never could have imagined. My goodness.
Those are some pretty
Hold on,
words,
SR. Hold on. But how could anybody be unethical when everyone has been gifted by God with a sense of morality?
Well, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad you brought this up. You know, we
Sorry
just
for that. Like I saw, like I've got the replay over here. Like I'm watching the stream and like that, just like you were fucking dying.
That's great. It's really good.
Like,
it was really good. Oh,
do you see it?
Kind of crying.
Do you see it, SR?
Yes.
That's 420 Atheist. That's remember Sammy Jenkins.
Hi, 428.
No,
we all just call him Sammy.
Hi, Sammy.
He's a great freaking
bloke.
guy. Yeah.
Like whenever he pops in on one of these streams, like he and I end up spending like another hour or two after everything's gone offline, just shooting the shit in the backstage of StreamYards. Like,
you know,
he's on
Sammy,
the underside of the flat Earth. Is that?
Yeah,
it says
he really
Australia.
He really
That's
is.
impressive. How do you hang on, Sammy? Tell us
He's
now.
Got very, very long curved toenails.
The flat
I
Earthers.
would have said mag boots.
Mag boots. That's good too.
Mag boots, right?
No, it's Velcro.
Hey, industrial Velcro is some strong shit. Like, I mean, there's Velcro that you could fucking hang a body from that, you know?
Shit helped us go to the moon. NASA shit.
And memory foam mattresses. Thank NASA for that too.
Well,
you got a problem
on
with
one of the
foam?
Skylab, in one of the Skylab missions, when one of the astronauts kept getting motion sickness because he just couldn't seem to deal with the artificial gravity, they taped him to the wall with duct tape for the rest of the mission.
What?
Duct tape is pretty nice too.
Yeah,
I mean,
they duct
it's
taped
weird
him to the wall for 3 days until it was time to go home.
It's weird that we keep, you know, harvesting ducks to make tape, but I mean, it's effective. I've used it a lot.
If you want to know something really sticky, leather tape that you use in sewing, like it's a double-sided tape. Like there's two types. There's one that it's a wash-away tape that is safe to sew through, like it won't gunk up your needle, so you can tape things like putting a zipper closure in something. You can tape it in there and then sew over it, and then if you go and wash the product, then it'll just wash away. It dissolves in water. The other one is leather tape. That shit sticks for fucking ever, and you can sew under it, you know, like asterisk. However, if you're like, if it's a tiny little bit, it's fine, but it will gunk up your needle and just get really messy because that adhesive is just so goddamn strong.
So you use it for leather? You use it for adhering things to leather?
Also, like when you're sewing leather together, or it's really good for when you're sewing vinyl together too, because I don't actually work with real leather. I work with vinyl. Because one, it's a lot cheaper, and two, it's a lot more ethical, you know. I mean, if I was going to be making something like shoes, then I would use real leather just because that's going to last a lot longer, and it's more ethical to use one piece of leather, to make a pair of shoes and, have it for 10 years than it would be to use cheaper synthetic materials and have it wear out after 6 months to a year, But I digress. Like I use it for bag making, and I make purses and bags and stuff like that. And like that stuff is insanely sticky. Like if you stick your finger to it, you're like, ah.
Interesting. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know anything about sewing or anything, so that's like a whole world of really intricate stuff that I've just never explored. And
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've heard you and Godless Sewing chat about it before.
You have to learn to think in 3 dimensions, because a lot of the things that you sew, like a lot of bags, will be like there's 2 types of bags that you can make, essentially. A bound bag where you sew everything, the way it will be in its final configuration, and then where your seams come together, you just wrap it in binding and stitch it through. So if you open up a backpack and you see that there's like a binding going around on the inside, then that's a bound bag. The other way, and that one you just, it's pretty straightforward. It's just annoying to do the binding. The other option is a birthed bag, where you're actually sewing it like inside out and backwards, and then you leave a gap in, like, say, a zippered pocket or something, and then you pull the entire bag through that and then just close up that little gap once you've got everything all pressed out and finished. Like, I have this bag here that I made, and as you can see, well, it's going to be a little hard because it's black on black, but this is a bound bag, so you can see the binding going along on the inside. And since I used the same material as the interior lining material, it's not really noticeable unless you kind of point it out like that. Whereas let me set that down. I'll go grab another bag that I made over here that it's a birthed bag and show you the difference.
Yeah.
Give me a sec.
I don't know if well, hey Kyle, how are you? I see you jumping.
Hey. Figured I'd come say hi before I pass out.
Yeah.
Word.
It's okay, I'm getting angry at myself, so if you're watching my facial expressions, I'm a little frustrated.
Well, I'm gonna show this.
I'm gonna take off. I'm just exceedingly tired here, and I'm drifting.
Okay. Good night.
Bye, Jenny.
Bye, Jenny.
Jenny, sweet dreams, sweetheart.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye, sweetheart.
Goodbye, Chuck. Love ya.
So then this was a birthed bag. So there's no binding, and essentially this entire bag was pulled out through this interior zipper pocket. And you can tell because you can see when I stitched it closed, I had to stitch it along the exterior. So there's that stitch line there, but this entire bag was pulled out through this little pocket.
Oh, that's fascinating.
So like everything was all sewed together, and then it was flipped right side out through that little pocket, and then you push everything through, and then when you're done, you just pull the seams, the edges together. And then you're done.
Who's playing a TV? Kyle, you're not muted.
Kyle.
Thank you, buddy.
That is very, very cool. That is very, very cool.
So I'm going to show you guys this because you guys we were talking about diamonds and stuff, and Commander actually happens to do some stonework. So it's just a little 26
How is this the right answer?
26-second clip of
question
of what he did. They did. Look how intricate that is.
That's gorgeous.
Look at that.
Yeah. I've always wanted to learn faceting.
That's Tanzanite.
That's just beautiful. And Tanzanite
that is outside of my wheelhouse.
Yeah, Tanzanite is absolutely wonderful.
I can't even imagine taking the time to do that so perfect.
Yeah,
it reminds me of the color of my eyes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful fucking stone, and definitely can get expensive. So I do fuck with rocks a little bit. So I've done lapidary for a while, and worked at a gem and mineral show, and been a part of a local gem mineral club for years. I've been doing that basically my whole life. But yeah, I got a bunch of rocks everywhere, and yeah, I love rocks. But faceting gemstones was always a beast.
Look at
that. Yeah.
It's sitting on a McDonald's napkin. They went to McDonald's afterwards and was admiring it and took pictures of it. That is freaking beautiful.
Yeah, that cut is
6 hours to cut like that.
Yeah, that's incredible. Bro. Incredible stuff.
That is crazy. Beautiful though, beautiful. I don't have any kind of skill like that. I'm not even that. I'm more of a I mean, I do woodworking, but I'm more of like rough. I don't do little fancy beveling.
Yeah,
and my
you're
brother
a man's
does that
man.
I know. My brother does that shit. But I'm never spent the time. I don't have the equipment. I've never tried it. That's all. And because of my ADHD, and Kitty, you'll understand this. Because of my ADHD, I get into a project and I'm working on it. And I'm almost done. Then I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. So then I don't do anything fancy to it.
Or
I want to do
a new project and
no. I just don't want to. I don't want to do any projects for a while, and then I'll wait a while, like 8-9 months, and then all of a sudden I'll do a big project again. It's just what I do. So I've always done it like that. I don't know why. Could be in the middle of the winter, could be in the middle of summer. It doesn't matter. I'll just I'm going out and I'm gonna go cut wood and I'm gonna go build this.
I literally have a whole bin full of projects that I started, and then partway through I was like, oh no, I want to do this thing.
Oh, like my house. Right. I got 90% done and then stopped. I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore.
My brain
I'm ready to sell it.
Good sometimes.
Now I'm ready to sell it, and I'm thinking about just buying a camper.
Yeah.
It's because I'm lazy and I want to put in my own fucking shower. Everything else is pretty much done. Well, not just that, but the tanks, I was telling somebody about this, the black water tanks to go underneath of these, in order to get it to work on a cargo trailer, you have to get a special made one. It's like $3,000.
That's a lot.
I don't have $3,000.
Yeah, not sitting around.
Not just laying around that I can just throw out a piece of black plastic.
It's actually just off camera. You guys can't see it right now. I got a Scrooge McDuck vault.
I wish. I'm feeling the pain.
Funny.
I tweeted about it earlier because, I haven't bought new bras in a while. And as you can tell, I can't just buy, random bras. Because being a 33F, there's very limited places you can go. So I just had to drop way too much money on bras at Victoria's Secret. So they were on sale, and I mean, I did end up getting 7 bras for $200, which was great. Like, that is insane. Like, normally I'd be getting like 3, maybe 4 bras for $200. So 7, I did awesome. But it still fucking hurts.
Yeah, it's expensive. My son, before he did his first surgery and then started binding, and then now is going to get top surgery done soon. Before he did his first surgery, he was a 40 triple G or something. He weighed them. One was 15 pounds, one was 16. 31 pounds on his chest. And I'm like, guess why you have back pain, bro? Yeah, go get those fuckers cut off.
I have fucking neck and shoulder issues from it. Like,
oh yeah.
One of these days, I will have the surgery.
Speaking of trans stuff, here's a kicker to it, right? They put him through the surgery. They do this huge breast reduction. Will not go below a larger sized B, I think, or a small C, one of the two. because it's gender reassignment surgery and the insurance doesn't want to pay for it. So now he has to go back and get the rest of it removed.
What is the medical necessity there? How is that? How can you justify?
Why not just let the person pick? You're just taking out extra
absolutely
stuff.
Absolutely
You're already in there.
If they want to if they want to stop at a C, stop at a C. If they want to,
while we're here, we can go all the way down to flat for you for an extra like $2,000. Yeah. Okay, charge me. I'll pay.
How big or small do you
already
want?
Cut me open. Fuck it.
Well, I mean, part of it.
No, he's got to go through another surgery, and he's going to have double the scars.
Part of it comes down to insurance companies just being shitty. Like, case in point, when I was a teenager, I was like 14 or so. My wisdom teeth were coming in sideways, and they knew they were going to have to take them all out. And when it was time for me to have them taken out, the insurance company specifically said, you can only do the ones on the bottom. You can't do all four, or we won't pay for it. So the doctor did the ones on the bottom. And then about 8 months later, when the other ones were starting to cause a problem, I went to go have the surgery again, schedule another surgery, and the insurance company refused to pay for it, literally saying you should have done them all the first time.
Or SR.
Insurance is evil. It is absolutely evil, and I hate all of it. I hate it so much.
What a weird dystopia where a doctor looks at a human being and says something along the lines of, like, hey, I've studied this stuff like for a really, really long time, like for like 20 years of my life. And you as a person need this medical procedure. And then somebody else, a third person, comes along and goes, haha, no, sir. This contract here says I'll only give you $10. And he says it costs $15.
Like, and people don't get that. Like, even certain medications, if you don't take them consistently, it will kill you. Like, heart medications are not something to fuck with. Like, and the reality is we have to have conversations with people about, so how come you're not taking your medications? And they say, I can't afford them because I either get my medications or I can't feed my kids. So it's like, you have to have the conversation with somebody. And then insurance is like, well, that's not a necessary medication. Well, like, yeah, I mean, they're not going to die today from not having this medication, but they're going to die later from not having this medication. Like, and they don't get it. Like the ideal, like, and the thing too is they love to claim that it's about saving the money, but actually they would save way more money by not getting people hospitalized. Like, if we could be preventative, we could prevent that extra money being spent. Like, put some extra money towards this blood pressure medication, and then you're not going to be having to pay this hospital bill down the road. Like, but they don't get it because, you know what? Funny thing is, they're not medically trained and they don't understand this shit.
Yeah, weird.
Honestly, the people making the calls, funny. They're just following scripts. They're following company protocols. It ultimately comes down to the companies that say, we will pay for this, we won't pay for that. You've got people rationing their insulin. You've got people who may lose their job, and because someone had the brilliant idea to tie insurance to employment in this country, fuck you very much. Say they're taking Valium. They've been on Valium for 10 years. You no longer have insurance. You can't get that Valium. Stopping Valium, like cold turkey, will fucking fuck you up and could even kill you. And what are you going to do? Like, what can you do? If you can't go see a doctor, you can't get the script filled. And, even if you could scrape up the money for the doctor, then you're paying out of pocket for said Valium. And if you can't afford that, I mean, we claim to be the best country on earth, like rah rah America, yeah, fuck yeah. But like, we're the only first world country that doesn't guarantee healthcare as a right to the citizens. So, like,
time off for a baby.
Yeah, make it make.
How weird is that?
Sammy, SR, Sammy, otherwise known as the mobile 420 atheist.
Nice. Now, is Sammy 420? Is that a reference to drugs? Is that what you're?
Yeah.
I'm
But
completely
nobody on this
unaware.
stream does drugs.
I just
People
want to
smoke
say
pot. Is that real?
I didn't inhale.
All right,
As
Bill.
Beck's doing it right now.
I just bum puffed.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, there's Rex. Hi, Rex.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Doing good, buddy. How you doing?
All right.
I just had a
I'm
rant
good.
about insurance. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
like to see
speaking
that.
of speaking of like medications and stuff, I was just prescribed a new one for diabetes, and if insurance didn't cover it, it would be $2,000 for 4 sticks.
Holy fucking shit.
So my son has medicinal cannabis for his epilepsy. He would be dead by now without it.
Yeah.
It was the only drug we'd found. We went through all the epilepsy drugs, and weed actually worked.
Yeah.
If it wasn't subsidized, well, it is subsidized, but we actually don't pay anything because my son got to be on the trials for it. And what happens with the trial is if you benefit from the medication, you continue to get it for life. So he'll never have to pay
Nice.
for it.
that's awesome.
As long as this pharmacy company that makes it exists,
Nice.
which is a
Yeah.
big one, GW Pharma, which is one of the biggest ones in the world.
Hmm.
So,
I have to look.
Hi,
but
Carol.
it's still illegal here and still so hard for people to get. And it would cost him $1,000 a bottle. And he goes through a bottle in about 3 weeks.
It's
Wow.
it's
That's-
really
You guys have better health care there than we have here.
Yeah.
You at least have a baseline, where you're not completely fucked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird, especially I mean here in the United States, our politicians love to stand on a platform and say,
Mhm.
I like veterans. I love our veterans. I want to help our veterans. And everybody just goes, "Oh my God, that's so great. That's so great." And then the politician goes, "I want to help children. I want to help children." Everybody goes, "Oh my God, that's so great. That's so great." And then somebody goes, "Hey, did you know one of the things that could really actually benefit both of those groups is legalizing cannabis?" And they go, I don't want to do that. It's so weird though, but there are so many veterans with PTSD, and there are so many children out there with epilepsy that, I mean, are clearly getting help from this. It's not a
Right.
there's no discussion.
Look,
Like we
And here's the
have
thing
here-
too. And here's
all
the
I-
thing too. What we can do, like if you allow doctors to utilize this, we can keep people safe while they use it.
Oh.
We can make sure people are using it for correct reasons and not going into the whole recreational thing. I absolutely think that should be allowed as well. But purely from a medical standpoint, like people would be able to get it and be monitored on it.
Now, Ben, I'm a
And
little
that would be a
skeptical.
great thing.
I'm a little skeptical, and here's what I'm going to say, and just tell me on this. I don't know if we've ever had an instance in the past where, say, like medical practitioners were dosing out in very specific dosages based on individuals and science, like really high, powerful, like potentially super deadly drugs. That's never
Yeah.
happened in the history of society before.
Oh, never.
Oh,
we
I
never
beg
dose
to
out
disagree.
deadly
I
drugs.
beg to disagree.
That's sarcasm, Rex.
Sarcasm
I
is
was
strong.
sarcasm.
Okay, okay. If it's sarcasm, that's fine.
Yes,
That's fine.
Of course.
Because
Right.
Coca-Cola used to have cocaine in it.
Yeah, we used to prescribe cocaine. I
Like-
mean, way
We
back, but-
still can
still- right, we
prescribe
still give
cocaine. Which
people-
I think I've told you all my story about my pharmacology class and the difference between academic pharmacology and clinical pharmacology. Because okay, so yes, a lot of the times it's great to choose a medication that can serve multiple functions at the same time. Like I get that. That's great. But it's context, and I'll just tell you what the question was about. So we had a question. The case was like a 10-year-old who has a nosebleed after crashing his bike, and they want a single a single treatment for both the pain and for the bleeding. And the answer they wanted was cocaine because it can do both those things. But my thought was, yes, it does. But this is a 10-year-old with a nosebleed. Like, this is not
I was
appropriate.
there for
Why
that.
can't
He's not kidding.
like why
Yeah.
can't we use 2 separate treatments for this? Why can't we give him Tylenol and then use silver nitrate on the nosebleed? Like, do
Nope.
we have to use one?
No. Get
It's
your
like
straw,
it's great that
kid.
these professors like want us to understand these mechanisms, but like practicality is a thing. And like I get that you're a PhD and you know your pharmacology, but you've clearly never been in clinical practice because this is hilarious.
Wow.
They did
I
that a
used to
few
get
times.
cough medicine with codeine in it when I was a kid. I mean, like that was the thing when I went to the doctor, you know, and because like whenever I would get
Mhm.
sick, it would really settle into my chest, and the doctor prescribed literally codeine because
Just in
it,
They
case
still
the
have
cough
it.
medicine didn't work.
Don't do this,
Yeah.
Stool. But
They
also,
still
I want to
have it.
address
Stool.
Kitty.
Oh
I want
my
to address
god.
Jupit's point, though. This is dose dependent, though. So, in a small dose, it wouldn't give the nosebleed. It would over time due to eroding the septum. But still,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
because
puts holes in
it's a
your nose, yeah.
vasoconstrictor. That's the reason
mean,
why you'd use it.
here's the thing.
But-
Like me personally, I am very libertarian. I'm a libertarian socialist. Like I think that we should at the very least decriminalize all drugs because criminalizing and prohibition doesn't do anything but hurt people, especially, you know, the underprivileged and minorities disproportionately. But, you know, decriminalizing, like if you want to have like laws in the books for selling it, you know, without a license, go for it, you know. But as far as possession and use, there should be no criminal penalties for it. You can have treatment available for people with addiction issues. We'd save a lot of money and we'd give the cartels. Um, but especially if we were to go the legalization route, you know, have safe injection sites, have, you know, treatment plans, have regulations so that you know that if this is what you're, if drug here is what you're asking for, that it is going to be exactly that. It's not going to be cut with something that where your normal dosage that you do all the time is now going to kill
Mhm.
you because
Yeah.
it's not accurate. If we treated, you know, recreational drugs the same way we treat pharmacological drugs that you get from your doctor, then it would be a hell of a lot safer. You would see a lot less negative outcomes and you can focus on, you know, treating people with addiction problems. But one of the main things that leads to addiction is poverty, is
Yep.
being underprivileged, is, you know, having unchecked, undiagnosed, untreated mental illness. Like a lot of these things, people are self-medicating because they are miserable either from mental illness or poverty or being overworked and underpaid and, you know, treated like a cog in a machine rather than a living, breathing, thinking human being. And we could actually, in one fell swoop, if we took care of mental health, healthcare, and, you know, poverty in this country, you would see drug usage go down. Sure, people might be like, yeah, let's take Molly on Saturday night while I'm out at the club, you know, but it would be something you do like once a month when you're out with your girlfriends or your guy friends. It would be no different than getting a few drinks in, something
Sorry
done
about that.
recreational, that it's not impairing your life or affecting it in any way. And as far as marijuana goes, that is no more impairing than alcohol. So the fact that it is held to a different standard than alcohol is absolutely ludicrous, considering
Can
it's a hell
I
of a lot safer.
I want to address Commander's point. Yes, it is still used not as much as an anesthetic as it is used as a vasoconstrictor for ENT surgeries because those areas are very, very highly vascular. And yeah,
What is
it
the
is still used, but
prescribed
it's
method? What are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to take
well,
a
usually the
powder?
the person's not taking it while they're awake. Usually, it's like used in
Like swab?
surgeries.
Would it be like
I
swabbed
think-
in there?
Yeah, like I'm guessing it's topical. I would
Okay.
guess.
So I want
So-
to let you know before you said that, Ben, I was thinking about this totally differently. Now, the way that I'm seeing this, and I know this is incorrect, But the way I'm imagining this is essentially just like two surgeons just like fucking with somebody's nose and the guy's still under and they're like, oh shit, he's bleeding a little bit more. Like, hey, Bill, do you still have that? Yeah. Oh, from last night? Yeah, man. Just throw some of that up.
Oh no,
there.
they would track that stuff. They would track
Are
that.
you sure
like,
that's not what's happening? Okay.
Oh no, any controlled substances you monitor like how much you used and how much you have left over, and all that's left over has to go to waste, so they know exactly how much was used.
I'm not gonna lie, SR. I was thinking a similar thing.
Yeah, is there cocaine sitting around at like hospitals?
Not a lot of it. Like I'm guessing they'd have to.
Not a lot.
Hey, SR, you want to break your leg with me?
I don't think they keep it all the time, or if they have to order it in. But you have controlled substances at the hospital all the time. Like you have an abundance of controlled substances.
I mean there's like
but I
a whole
realize
shit ton of morphine and all kinds of stuff at the hospital.
Those make sense to me. That makes sense to me. But like the idea of somebody just being like, yes, technically,
well,
you could just like do a bump, you could do a rail. We probably got like 1.5 grams somewhere just already to go. But that just, I'm sorry, that blew my mind. That was one of those things that's one of those facts about the universe that just makes me go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I will let you know.
Cross, there are, it's locked up, and you got to have like codes and shit, and type in and blah 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 to get in there, so they know exactly who's touched what.
So you're saying it's not impossible to get in?
Yeah, it's not like half baked where you can walk in there and say, "Hey, can you give me a pound of weed?"
Yeah, well, right.
No, it's tracked. Like it's very, very heavily regulated.
Of course,
like you're not gonna be able to walk out with it and not get caught.
Because you guys remember this.
Yeah.
Remember C2s, all controlled substances. Those are federally regulated. It's a federal crime.
Yeah.
Not a state or city crime if you steal that shit. So they will fucking chase you down.
But is there
you're gonna get busted?
But is
you have to like steal somebody's name badge and their password and blah blah and that's
and I just want to make it clear
they're gonna find you.
I want to make it clear I'm not interested at all in using or robbing or anything. But I, honest to God, just had no idea. I had no idea that was a thing, and like now I'm just wondering, like, is there LSD? Too? Why just cocaine? Is LSD
because it's a vasoconstrictor.
Because it has that one medical applicant.
Yeah.
I mean, ecstasy used to be sold as a marital aid. So
yeah, it's a Schedule 1 drug, like marijuana. Yeah.
I'm sorry, marijuana should not be Schedule 1. Like,
No, it shouldn't.
Okay. It should be like Schedule 0.25 or something. Like it can't even.
Dr. Cross, for research, that's different. Research has all kinds of drugs. We're talking more about the clinical setting.
I am researching how long I can smoke pot for and help my PTSD, and so far I'm at like 31 years. So far so good.
You're an amateur astronomist.
I will let you all know because I got my schedule for 4th year, and everyone has to do a surgery subspecialty elective.
God.
So, and I'm doing ENT next year. So I will tell you if we use any cocaine during surgeries, I will let you know.
We need to know this information, Ben.
Yes. You have no idea.
Yeah, man, they sprinkled some on. Everybody got some on top of it.
I will let you know how it is applied if we do use it.
That's
the benefits
really
of having a doctor friend.
And this is how we
You
get
know
the
the two
answers to
worst
the
drugs.
questions that really matter.
Right.
It's a 4-line spread. Oh, 4-point. Never mind. Go ahead. What? I had to throw something in. SR.
I just want to let everybody know.
Rex,
go ahead, Rex.
The two worst drugs they ever came up with was Oxycontin and fentanyl because they killed a bunch of my friends before they ever turned 30, and I'm about to turn 50.
Yeah.
Never did any of it.
Yeah.
I was prescribed fentanyl. Like I'm a chronic pain patient, and over 10 years ago, I was actually on fentanyl patches, and getting off of that, I felt like I was dying. And it took me almost a year to start feeling normal again because of the post-acute withdrawal syndrome.
Wow.
You could not pay me to ever fucking like Twilight sedation. They use it in Twilight sedation, like a combination of fentanyl and Versed if you're going to have like a minor surgery or procedure done. Like that would be fine. I wouldn't say, that. But as far as being prescribed the transdermal patches that I was on, unless you are giving me half of Jeff Bezos's wealth, where like I can be in Club Med while I fucking come down from how awful it is, like there is no way in hell that I would ever, let a doctor prescribe that to me again.
I'm gonna tell you something, Kitty.
I'm gonna say
the real quick before Ben goes off on that topic. Heather will not prescribe fentanyl to anybody that is not like old and about to die, because she knows damn well what's gonna happen with that shit. So people will say, "Well, what about a fentanyl patch?" She's like, "Nope, you're in too good of health. We're not doing that. Nope."
I was
we
in
have
my
a
early
couple
20s.
we have a couple chronic cancer patients, and they have like a bunch of shit cancer eating up their body, so
At
she
that
gives
point,
them
it's like,
fentanyl
fuck it.
patches.
Go
But
for
they
it.
don't have much.
You're on your way
like
out
if they
anyway.
live another 2 years, it'd be fucking amazing. Like there's 3 of them that are just, and those are the only 3 I've ever seen her prescribe fentanyl to. And I see all the scripts that come in for requests and people calling, and I know what she prescribes. And there's 3 people.
Yeah, because what I'm gonna say is that there are applications where it's appropriate, and like for anything, because pain is really, really, really difficult to manage, and there's a reason why there's an entire specialty of physicians. In fact, it is a subspecialty, so not even just a specialty. You have to go through residency and a fellowship, possibly multiple fellowships, to be a pain specialist. Pain is not an easy thing to manage, and everybody's so different. And there's so many consequences, and there's no good answer to pain.
And you know the
there
fucked
isn't.
up thing with the fentanyl
And so
patches?
it's like it's a thing that where it's very difficult to talk about because there are a lot of really dirty drugs for pain. There are also some cleaner drugs for pain, but like sometimes the only option is to use the dirty drugs. And it's a decision that you have to make for, and this is why things need to be an individual decision, because as someone who's never experienced chronic pain, like I can't imagine what some people go through on a daily basis being in pain that I can't even imagine.
I know what 3 months was like, and I was ready to blow my brains out at 3 months.
So it's like being able to work with somebody where they need to be with their pain control while still trying to be responsible is a very, very difficult area to like get into. And so it's like, I can't make very generalized opinions on it because it's such a nuanced area of medicine.
So can I ask you to make a generalized opinion on it real quick, Ben? Oh man, I was just wondering if
come on, please.
There's any other drug out there that has the intensity of fentanyl but doesn't have all the negative side effects.
See, you can't really do it. That's the problem. That's the problem. It's like, because the mechanism of action for the drugs, of course, they act in a certain way. It's going to have a cascading effect in other areas just because of the receptors it acts on the other systems involved. So the question is, like, how bad is the pain? What can you manage? What helps and what doesn't? It has to be individualized. And I've heard people go on like rants and have presentations on the opioid crisis and making very absurd statements like, yeah, we could just nerve block everybody. Well, no, we cannot nerve block everybody. That's not going to do shit for a lot of the people. And then it's just irresponsible, and you're going to have to use way more resources than necessary for something that's not even going to help a bunch of people.
And
so
also,
sure, some cases it's fine, but like, it's just when people can't understand the nuance of this and just think that they have some golden answer. Like if we had a perfect answer, we'd already be using it. Like we'd still have a lot to learn. And I hope that in the future we can learn more about what the options are and come up with better options. But as it stands right now, there aren't any good options.
No,
Well, I
but
have a
Dr.
story.
Cross,
I
hold on.
have a story
Hold on.
when,
Hold on.
you know,
Hold on.
everybody can talk about whatever.
I know Rex
Yeah.
is on a little bit of delay. Hold on, Rex. Dr. Cross said taxing cannabis is silly when we don't tax big corporations. Actually, where I live, medical cannabis is not taxed. We pay a flat rate for it. There's no tax on it. The recreational that they are bringing in as of June, it will have a 33% tax on it, the same way Colorado did it. And our state's going to be really well off very soon. There's a lot of advantages to it. But yeah, 33% tax for recreational, but there's no tax on the cannabis. I mean, on the medical cannabis.
Well, wow. I've actually, I told you, Beck and Ben, yesterday that I recently quit using weed.
Right.
For just medical reasons. And I'm already starting to feel the effects in my feet again because my diabetes makes it to where my feet often feel like I'm walking on razors or hot glass. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So
yeah,
this is
diabetic neuropathy.
Yep. So this is going to be a journey.
Well, then you need to go talk to your doctor about other things to help your feet.
I was on Lyrica and gabapentin at one point, but it just didn't work.
Yeah,
But
I'm
maybe
still
there's something else.
There's not one solution for every single person. They need
Right.
to try some different stuff. And as a matter of fact, you can also what are those people called, Penn? Not the diabetes management people, but the other ones.
Which I don't. There's so many people involved in diabetes care that can do things.
Not endocrinology, is it?
It's it might. No, I don't think so because
I don't know where Beck is going. That's why I can't really chime in.
Oh, I'm trying to think of like the internal medicine person that helps with physical diabetes issues besides just your primary. There's a specialist, and I can't.
Well, if you're diabetic, you're gonna have multiple specialists. So,
well,
like
yeah,
endocrine's gonna handle your insulin, but with your neuropathy, that's not gonna be an endocrinologist. You're most likely because the thing with diabetic neuropathy, once you kind of have it, like it's difficult to gain function back. It's more preventing it from getting worse. So I mean, yeah, you can have a neurologist. They're not going to be able to do as much. I think like podiatry is going to play a role in it. Cardiovascular is going to play a role in it. Like there's a whole lot there that just gets really complicated.
So who works with the pancreas? Who's that? Endocrine?
Well, it depends on which part of the pancreas.
God damn it,
exocrine pancreas is GI. Endocrine pancreas is endocrine.
Okay.
The more I hear Ben talk, the more I realize I don't know shit.
Oh my god, I have no idea.
You know
what's
what?
going on
Every
in my body.
day I realize I don't know shit. So my butt's been kicked by these questions tonight, and I'm mad at myself. So
4 days
scares
a week.
Me.
4 days a week, I am reminded of my lack of intelligence because I'm around Ben. 4 days a week.
No, I'm a dumbass, so like don't
shut the fuck
If you're
up.
no, if you're a dumbass, that just puts us into some super low level.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you're not a dumbass.
Yeah, that's why you're on all these shows of all these people that have known me for 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know the fuck
I'm
why
not
people think I'm persuasive.
So fuck off.
Well, no
I'm
one knows
socially
everything.
awkward and a workaholic. That's about it.
No one knows everything.
This is true.
Ben,
Go ahead.
even if I took all the classes and did all the stuff you do, there's no way I would be able to remember a fraction of the stuff you rattle off.
I need a book. I need a book.
Cupid said, if you're a dumbass, I'm a genius. Shut the fuck up. Thank you, Cupid. That's exactly how I feel.
So going back to something, Secular Rarity had asked, like, basically all I can give is like my perspective as somebody who has been dealing with chronic pain since I was 19. I'm 34 now. And so I've been to a lot. They've thrown a lot of different drugs at me, and like I've reacted differently to many of them. With the fentanyl, the patches were supposed to last for 3 days, But
Mhm.
after 36 hours, I was in full-blown withdrawal, even though I was using them according to the package directions, because my body was just burning through them
Through it.
faster.
But see, because it's exactly what Ben always says. Everybody's
Yeah.
different. People will ask him questions. He's like, I don't know, because I don't know your labs. I don't know your history. I can't answer that. Everybody's different. You
And
can't do a generalized thing with a lot of that.
I
That's a prime
am
example.
I
Go
am
ahead.
on a different medication now. I'm actually on buprenorphine transdermal patches,
Mhm.
which they're a hell of a lot safer than fentanyl,
Yep.
for starters. And while I do still burn through this a little bit faster, like I've had times where I've taken an opiate and then pissed clean the following morning. Like my body just burns through opiates quickly. It's just
That's
something in my
crazy.
physiology. My dad's
I'm a
the same
lightweight.
way.
You probably upregulated your cytochrome P450 like insanely high.
Yeah, duh.
Oh.
Who didn't know
Oh,
that?
Yeah.
Damn.
Why did I think of
So
that, SR?
my dad's the same
Come
way.
on.
Like we both,
You're doing the same thing I was.
short-acting opiates wear off really quickly for us. And
It's the
so even with the
54 one.
Butrans patches, they're supposed to be changed every 7 days, but I need to change mine every 6 days because there is a stupid sharp drop off on, the 6th day going into the 7th. And that's what works for me. Now, when I was on the fentanyl patches, not only was that, but also my breakthrough meds having to go up like all the time. Whereas
Mhm.
these Butrans patches, I have been at the same dosage for almost 8 years now. It's the 15 microgram Butrans patch. Well, now there's a generic, so buprenorphine transdermal.
Right.
And I've been on that exact same dosage for 8 years. And then my breakthrough meds, I get 1 5 milligram Percocet, well, the generic version, a day. And I break it in half. I only take 2.5 at a time because I know it's not going to last very long. But it's just when things start to get pretty bad, I'll take it just to kind of take the edge off and bring me down just a little bit, and just help me kind of get through it. Because one thing that I had to learn as a chronic pain patient is I am never going to be without pain. Like I will always be in pain every minute of every day. It's just a question of varying degrees of severity and how much I can actually live with. And you have to learn to live with being in pain every minute of every day. And you have to learn to get a really goddamn good poker face, because I'm going to go on a rant here. People ask you how you're doing. Unless the answer is I'm okay, they don't want to know, because it
You're
depresses
right.
them.
Yeah.
It upsets
Yeah.
them to know that you're in pain.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
I am in pain right this moment. But if I wasn't telling you, you wouldn't be able to know, because I've gotten so good at masking it when I am talking to other people, when I'm having conversations. If it ever gets to the point where you see me on a stream where I'm like wincing or something,
It's really,
it's
really
really
bad.
bad because
Right.
I slipped in my mask. And it's because
And I've seen you
my
do that
loved
one
ones,
time since I've known you. One time I've seen you do that.
because my loved ones, like, my dad understands,
Mhm.
but like others, like, my mom's got lower back pain, but to give a thing, I think the lower back pain my mom has is like a 10 on the McGill pain scale. My condition is a 42. They say that what I have is like the most painful chronic pain thing a person can have. That sucks, especially
Yeah,
when
it
you're
really
diagnosed at
does.
19 and it's something you're going to have for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's some
Um,
bullshit.
it sucks.
It's just bullshit. It's fucking ridiculous.
But
Because
it did,
there's a greiter God out there.
I
yeah,
was
Anyways, go
just
ahead.
about to say that.
but it did give me
Beat you to it,
some
Kyle.
perspective, and it actually helped me to be a more understanding and loving person. And I'll explain why. When I was around 16 or 17, my dad came to me, being the eldest of my mom's children.
Mhm.
And he was like, look, my dad's dealt with chronic pain, like really bad pain. Like he had 2 botched back surgeries, got fucked up, during Vietnam War.
What? Fuck.
Like it's been bad. Like he's, he's a hot mess. He was in a motorcycle accident that literally
I was
crushed
going to
his
ask you
foot.
if anything was genetic, but apparently not. His was just
Yeah,
really
his was
bad
just,
luck in life. Right.
yeah.
Carry on.
So he was like, look, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Like, I'm fucking tired, And he was like, I came in on my birthday. I might go out on my birthday. I need you to step it up and take care of your mom and your sisters. I walked away from that conversation thinking he was the most selfish prick in the world. And then fast forward just 4 short years, and about a year after my diagnosis, and I fucking got it. I totally understood
It
exactly where he
clicked.
was coming
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
And I realized that I was the selfish one in that situation. I didn't want to
Yeah.
mourn my father, so I wanted him to continue suffering.
Right.
And from that point on, I have been absolutely pro, assisted suicide, euthanasia. I think there should be some gatekeeping so that it's not like if you lose your job, you go get in the future on a suicide booth. But, have some counseling and stuff like that beforehand. But I think that if you want to go out on your own terms, you should be able to. Like, it's your body, your choice.
I have 2 things to say. First of all, they actually have made that legal here. And there is
It's
a
more
company
humane.
now that has a mobile van with doctors in it, and they do dot all the T's, cross all the I's, make sure the person's cognitive enough to actually make that decision, check out the paperwork and blah. Like, they go through the whole fucking thing. And
I caught
but
that too, secular rarity.
it's an out of pocket thing, but they have it now. It's starting to come around. I live in a very progressive state. We get a lot of shit first, and it just blows my mind that these companies are like, hey, we're gonna they legalize this. We have a mobile unit. We'll come to your house and basically put down your loved one when they're ready. Which honestly, some of the people I've met in my life that are old and they don't know how to let go and they keep fighting and they're just fucking tired. My sister had cancer for 7.5 years when she passed away. And the last thing she said to me was, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. I can't do this anymore. And then she died like 3 or 4 months later.
There was a...
it's just not fair she had to suffer like that to die. She should have been able to go to somebody and say, I'm done, and they take care of it.
We are more humane to our pets.
Chronic cancer.
Than we are
she's not going to live any longer.
This does remind me of a recent thing that I saw on Facebook, though, that just like because I'm all in favor of people making their own decisions for their own lives and their own bodies, but
correct.
This one made me angry because of the religious aspects of it, because there was this young woman in her 20s who I believe she had chronic Lyme and Ehlers-Danlos and was on hospice, and she passed away recently. But her whole thing was all these Christians, my family included, a bunch of people I knew were sharing her story because her whole thing was she was ready to go because the next step was going to be better. And I'm all in favor of people making their own decisions, but when you have this indoctrination and that this idea that there's going to be something else and you're making this decision based on this thing that someone else has told you that there's no evidence for, is that really your decision?
Yeah,
in a way, no.
It sucks that people I'm not mad at her for making that decision, but I'm mad at the people who taught her that and who perpetuated those ideas.
And there's a difference between that and the main story in the amazing documentary How to Die in Oregon. That's what it's called. And it was about when Oregon initially legalized physician-assisted death back in 2008 or something, and Washington was, and we have gotten a few more states in this country, which is fantastic. We have fewer states that have legalized that than states that have made the death penalty illegal. So, I mean, it's kind of, we've got some progress, I guess, in both. But that the individual that they follow the entire time has liver cancer. And my grandmother died of liver cancer. and it is traumatic what happens to your body, and you just literally break down from the inside out. And that's one of literally thousands and thousands and thousands of chronicled things that people like Ben spend way too many hours studying on how to help and manage. And if those people come to you and basically say, hey, look, from here on out, it's really just going to be shit. And you're never going to, there's nothing else we can do. And it's just going to be bad. And all we can do is manage. If that's the case, from then on, I think it should be legal. That's it. You're just done. You get to decide basically all of it.
Once you get to the point of hospice, basically, you should have that choice.
Yeah,
because hospice is just managing you until you pass away.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I want to say real quick, SR. Hold on, Kitty, for 1 second. My sister had intestinal, liver, and stomach cancer.
It's terrible.
So yeah, it's some vicious shit. Go ahead, Kitty.
No, there was a woman that I forget what state she lived in, but she actually packed up like her whole family and moved to Oregon because of their assisted suicide law, because she had this rare, untreatable, uncurable brain tumor that it was one of those things that it was very, very aggressive. And she was like, all right, I set the date, and then she ended up delaying it because she still felt like herself, but her mind was going to go before the suffering started. So she was going to lose who she was, and then what was left of her was going to suffer and linger on. And she was like, no, I'd rather go out on my own terms. And I can't remember her name, but like it was a really big case, and it like really brought like national attention to assisted suicide, because
yeah,
this was something someone picked up their whole life to move to another state so they could die. Yeah. Like that takes some dedication, and people pay attention when you like.
Yeah, it's not a last second decision. This is something that was planned, and that's the point of all this assisted suicide. It's something you need to like. If anybody wants to do this in the future, go get a will drawn up, put it in your fucking will. Like, do it now. Or put it in your advance directive. Do it now. Yeah. And that way later on, you don't, and if you want to change it, you can change it at any time. You can always put an addendum to it. But it's important to do that stuff, because sometimes you get so sick, people are like, oh, they're out of their mind. And then there you are, you're stuck. But if you put it in writing ahead of time, that's the best
I had a
way to
DNR. Like before my son was born, I had an advance directive DNR, because if I was going out, don't bring me back. Like my life, like dealing with pain is like, I'm not going to take myself out, but if I'm already out, don't bring me back to this, Now, obviously, I have my son that, changed things for me. And
absolutely,
like, I kind of just push through it because, he needs me, and I
you're
need
a mom
him.
and you love him. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
But I mean, yeah, like,
is that who you're talking about? Brittany Maynard?
Yes, I believe so. The name sounds
familiar. She died in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's who it was. Thank you.
Jupit laying down knowledge. Look at that. Shit, I was gonna say something else, SR, and I forgot.
Oh, well, he stepped away anyway.
It's true, but now I'm trying to think of it before he comes back. What's that?
Grey Wolf said earlier about a friend's grandfather who chose to die by not taking his medications. That's actually what happened with my own grandfather. His doctor basically, he was miserable. He was on the medications. They were helping keep him alive, but he had really no quality of life. And his doctor's like, look, if you stop taking the medications, you'll have a better quality of life, but it will be a much less quantity. Like you might be able to exist for another year and a half, 2 years with the medications, and maybe 5 or 6 months without. And he was like, you know what? He had the conversation with his daughters, and he was like, I'm going to stop the medications. He said he felt 15 years younger, and he ended up living about, I think, almost 9 months after stopping the medications. Like he, just felt a lot better, and he had a better quality of life at the end. And then when he did die, it was almost instant. Like he had just gotten out of the shower and his heart just completely gave out on him, and he was gone before he even hit the tile floor. So
So
Thank you for. Go ahead, Ben.
Oh.
I'll wait. Go ahead.
I just want to chime in and say that, like, just so people know, like, because this isn't something that's commonly understood, is that there are more options for end of life care besides hospice and like all that. So, like, a lot of people confuse hospice and palliative care, but they're very different things. So, palliative care is not meant to be like hospice. It's not just like keeping you comfortable and letting you go. Palliative care is for goal-oriented care. So it's like if there are certain things that you want for your quality of life, then that's the priority. So like if something that is meaningful to you is like maintaining relationships with your family, getting to do certain activities, like making sure you can at least physically do some things for yourself, or like if there's certain things that matter to you for your quality of life, like that's the priority. So it's like very directed care, but it's not hospice. It's not saying that you're terminal necessarily or that you have to be, but like if you want to be alive as long as you can, but don't want to do everything X, Y, and Z, or you just have very certain goals that you want to meet, you have somebody that you can talk to and can put that stuff in place. So you have the resources to undergo that kind of stuff. So people don't know about that option, but it's a great option.
That's true.
One of the biggest issues with this whole conversation is the fact that we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it as a society. We don't want to have a broad daylight, completely sober. Let's all sit down with our clipboards and our pens and papers and figure this shit out and talk about it. That's the big issue. I mean, nobody wants to say, hey man, like, so what do you want to do for your funeral? Like, what would you want that to look like? Do you want a funeral? Do you want to be cremated? Like, it doesn't have to be this horrible, intense thing that, you know, just comes out of nowhere and is just complete trauma. Like, we can do all kinds of stuff. You could tell people, again, with the will. Now, there's some legal things as to what you can technically require, but like you could put it in your fucking will to have a clown. Like you could, you know, if you wanted it at a theme park, you could tell everybody like, hey, no flowers, no speeches, roller coasters. You know? I mean,
we need to put the fun back in funeral.
I keep saying this.
Why don't think we just call it funeral? It should be just funeral.
What I want to happen is you have me in the casket, and then in the background, the music is only the first bit of Pop Goes the Weasel, but it never gets to the end. But you're just wondering if it's gonna get to the end. And what's gonna happen if it gets to the end?
I want someone to, like, when the funeral starts, get everybody be quiet, right? Dim the lights, put a spotlight on the casket, right? And then start the song "Staying Alive," and then just have a rope raise my arm up like this or something, you know, with like a fist, like woo, you know, just to freak the fuck out of everybody. And if anybody knows me, they'll laugh.
For me, I want to be cremated, and I want my ashes turned into a gem that could be a keepsake for my child.
Yeah,
they can do that.
There are labs that are doing that now, which I think is really cool. Because my grandmother died when I was 7. She actually died a week after my 7th birthday. On the day after Christmas, and my grandfather, like, this was the love of his life, and like he had her ashes. He basically had a shrine to her with pictures and like some of her favorite jewelry and everything. So whenever you walked in the door at his house, you just saw my Nana right there, and like he kept that. And then now that he's passed, they got a different urn so that their ashes could be together.
That's cool.
But then I thought about it, and it's like, you know, honestly, when it comes down to it, like carrying someone's ashes, like, you know, giving that down to a family member, like just the logistics of like,
It's
where
really morbid.
I'm not even worried about the morbid. I'm gothic. Like,
why
I mean,
anybody wants to carry around ashes. Like, either go spread them or make them into like something or put them in something. But they
I'm just
carry
saying,
like the whole urn.
logistically, like
around with
logistically, an
them.
urn,
Talk to it.
it's awkward, like at the very least, if not, morbid or macabre, like depending on your point of view. Like, it doesn't bother me. Again, gothic, like my little goth heart, like
I mean, something
appreciates
else about it, but I'm not going to get into all that. Go ahead.
Wednesday Addams, was definitely a spirit animal. Deadpool and Wednesday Addams. But still, like having my ashes turned into a gem, that way if my son wants to, keep me with him in a way, like
Yeah.
it could be inset in a ring or in a pendant or something where he doesn't have to wear it all the time, but like, or ever, but just having it as like a token.
Yeah. No,
Allows
that I
something
think
to be
is cool.
passed down without it
Yeah.
being something big and clunky and awkward. There is actually a YouTube channel. It's Ask a Mortician.
I was just thinking about her.
And
Yeah.
she is just fucking amazing. She is very open about, look, we need to have these conversations about what we want for our end of life situations. And she wants to normalize those kinds of conversations because
Yeah.
we as a species, like, we have an aversion to death. I mean, just the smell of decay will turn us away and make us recoil. Like, we are just like biologically programmed to have an aversion to death and decay. And honestly, there's also the existential dread that comes along with knowing you're mortal and you're going to die. I personally believe that that's part of where religion came from in the first place. Like, I can see a clear line of, you have early hunter-gatherer man, and it's like cause and effect. I stab the deer dies, cause effect. I stab you, you die, cause effect. But aging, weather, natural disasters, like things like that, like disease, they see the effect and think there must be some bigger cause, and that's where you start to get the whole, oh well, like there's spirits, more of a everything's got a spirit, like an Aboriginal, like Native American type thing, and then that eventually evolved into the polytheism of the Egyptians and the Greeks and so on, and then eventually monotheism. But a lot of it comes down to, once you realize that your life is finite, like having a fear of that end and not wanting it to go on. And then you have religions like Christianity and Islam and even Judaism, where, though a little bit to a lesser extent than Islam and Christianity, where it's almost like a death cult, where this life doesn't matter, it's what comes after that does. And that's the thing that makes me the most sad about Christianity and Islam, because they are so focused on what comes next that they're not living the one life that they have right now that's guaranteed.
Can I share a little bit? Because this actually is
Go.
related to my deconversion story, which I shared on Neil's channel. But kind of the big thing that made me leave religion was like my first experience with a dead body. Actually, multiple dead bodies. But I'll share a little bit. So I guess it's not even my first experience, because I had worked in my undergrad anatomy lab. I worked with cadavers before, and like that, it sucked, but that wasn't anywhere near the experience of going to. So I shadowed a medical examiner at the county coroner's office, and this was part of. It wasn't even for my class. My friend was in a forensic chemistry class, and I was like, they found out that I could come with because everyone knew I was interested in medicine. And so I was like, okay, I've had my hands on cadavers before. Like, this isn't a big deal. It's just like what we did in anatomy lab. Like, fresh bodies and bodies like 12 hours after are not, like, it's nothing like the cadaver lab. And like, the smell is different. These people have names attached to them.
Yeah.
And the thought, this tripped me up too, was the thought the day before we went to go watch the autopsies, my friend and I looked at each other and we said, this is weird, because the person who we're gonna watch tomorrow doesn't know that they're gonna die. Like they're still alive and they don't know that it's gonna be them.
Oh,
And
That's a good point.
so
damn, bro.
so we go, and there are three bodies in the morgue at that time, and this coroner's office, they do like 5 autopsies a morning. Like
Jesus.
that's a lot of dead people.
Yeah,
But
really.
the first body, the one that I actually stayed to watch, I didn't stay for the other ones because it actually gave me acute stress disorder. And the first one was a 19-year-old female from a heroin overdose who was found by her mother in her bathtub.
Yeah.
And like, because being taught in religion about like the afterlife and like what death is supposed to be like, it's like death is just something that's in the way for whatever's to come next. But I don't believe the majority of those people have actually looked death in the face and have seen it for real, like in its raw form. Like it is not pretty. It's horrifying. It is horrifying to face that. And to be faced with the reality and just think to yourself, this is reality. This is what is going to happen. We are all going to be that person on the table. And like seeing it physically and knowing that person's story, because you can tell what happened to this person throughout that entire autopsy. We found out that this woman had, if not one, probably multiple coat hanger abortions.
What? Damn.
Because she was.
Because you can see the effects on the Jesus Christ.
And it was like, and the one of the other bodies in the room was one from a car accident the day before. He had his hand still in the position where his hand was on the wheel. And freaky. There is a freezer and then like some fridges like for remains, because anything that's either considered to be a homicide or might be a homicide needs to be saved forever. And generally, if something is pediatric, it's considered to be a homicide, so it's saved. So there are buckets of baby brains in this freezer.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think people understand the gravity of this kind of thing. And I've since then, like, I've worked through a lot of those issues. Like, I've had great counselors and therapists to work through it, but religion's doing us a huge disservice, because like there were plenty of times after that where I would just like have flashbacks, and I would have an actual like existential crisis of like, what is this? Like, what is this that we're like just going about or whatever business, and then that's the outcome.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's the fucking point? And then took me for a while to understand there is no fucking point. Like, it just it sucks. And we have to just kind of like, if I can't really find a better word, but like embrace the fact that it sucks. Yeah. And that it sucks for everybody.
To believe that all of that is true. To accept wholly in your inside of you that what you just said, Ben, is 100% true, and that was just one single location out of thousands, dozens of thousands of places like that around this one country.
Yep.
And to simultaneously hold the belief that there is an entity out there that really gives a shit about every single one of us individually and can basically do anything. It's frustrating. I agree, man.
Yeah.
That is a frustrating thing when you understand that there are people out there that hold those. that
Yep.
absolutely 100% listen to everything you just said and just go, terrible, absolute shame that is the reality that we have. And then we'll also say, yeah, and there's this thing that I know personally that hangs out with me and my buddies and can fix all of this, wants everything to be better, and just, I don't know. I don't know if it doesn't. I don't know if it can't. I don't know logic. I don't know what the fuck it is, because that's why I don't accept that shit, because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know, as a disabled person, like when I go out, I have to walk with a cane, because if it's more than just a little bit of walking around the house, I need it for stability, because more than a little tiny bit of walking, and I just need that extra help. Or I use a wheelchair for going to like a theme park or something, because it's just way too much. I physically can't. I am constantly being accosted by Christians that want to come up to me. I actually made a TikTok about it like 2 weeks ago, because twice in 2 weeks I had been accosted by Christians that come up to me and they ask, oh, can I ask what's wrong? I have a degenerative nerve condition, is kind of just the phrase that I go with, because I don't really care to explain my medical diagnosis to strangers. And
Right.
then they're like, oh, well, do you mind if I pray for you? And I'll be
Oh my
like,
God.
you can if you want, but I'm an atheist. I don't think it's going to do anything.
That's what I
And
tell
then,
people.
and then, sometimes that'll scare them away, because, ooh, big scary atheist, And then other times, it won't, and they'll chat my ear off. The first one was at a Publix, and I was in line grabbing some groceries, and he was like, "Can I pray for you?" And I was like, "Yeah." I gave him the spiel. He was like, "Oh, well, if you don't want me to, I won't." And I was like, "Well, thank you for that. I appreciate you, respecting that and not pushing the issue." I spoke too soon, because he actually followed me to my car in the parking lot,
The
and
fuck?
then wanted to proceed to have this conversation, about it. And he was like, no, I had all this back pain, and, the love of Jesus totally healed me. And I'm like, there was a time when I was a believer, and it didn't do shit for me. Um, and then we ended up getting into this theological conversation about, essentially, oh, well, the reason, why is there suffering in the world if there's a loving God? And it's like, oh, because of the fall and original sin. And I was like, but, I mean, can you honestly say, like, could Adam and Eve known that they were doing wrong before they'd eaten of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good, right from wrong? I mean, I basically said God wanted worshipers that were essentially mental invalids. They were no better than toddlers. He's like, no, Adam was smart. He could name the animals. And I said, so can a 2-year-old, but you can't enter into a binding contract with a 2-year-old, because they don't have the mental faculties to actually be able to make these kinds of decisions. And you just his brain just kind of short circuited. And then he tried like shifting tactics. And like I gradually brought the conversation back around to that again. And like he just was like, and his brain broke and he walked away. And then similar tactic, it's kind of my go-to tactic with these people, because usually their brain breaks and they leave. Because I don't want to be the angry atheist, like they're expecting someone to be like vitriolic and
Right.
nasty. And no, I'll have a conversation with you. You're not going to change my mind. I've heard it all before, but I'm going to give you some food for thought, because maybe that is planting that little seed of doubt that might give a little bit of self-awareness. Um, and the woman was like, oh, well, like the Bible, it's not about the Bible. It's about like the love of God and Jesus, and God is nothing but love. And I'm like, okay, so what about this? And I point out, the same thing with, good from evil. And like, she just skipped right past that. Like her brain would not let her even acknowledge it. Like it started to click, and then she just steamrolled. No, God is love, and I was like, okay, but look at all the Bible like verses that clearly God is not love. um and honestly, she was rather pushy about it, and that was while I was waiting at Walmart for some fabric to be cut at the fabric cutting counter. So literally, I'm just there living my life, minding my own business,
Right.
and
Right.
these people come up to me and accost me to proselytize the good word like I haven't heard it before and like it's actually going to do anything. And I went on a rant saying, look, this is predatory because I'm okay. Like I have reached an acceptance of my pain and my condition. And does it depress me sometimes? Yeah. You know, when I have 2 or 3 days in a row that are bad days, yeah, it does. But, you know, I'm at a good point in my life. Like I'm stable, like with my medications, you know, I have good days and bad, but it all averages out and I'm fine. But not every disabled person is going to be that way because there's a lot of expectations society places on us, and society is not disabled friendly. And that
No.
person might be at the lowest point in their life. They might be in pain and suffering. They might feel like they're not measuring up to their families or society's expectations for them. And you know, a lot of people find religion at their lowest point in their life. They have a loss of a loved one, loss of a job, something terrible happens to them, like a miscarriage or a sexual assault or, you know, death of a loved one, like any number of things. And people say, oh, I was at my lowest and, you know, God found me and raised me up. It's like, no, you were literally primed to be taken advantage of. And that's exactly what these people are doing, whether they are conscious of it or not. They are preying upon disabled people to try to proselytize and bring them into the fold and into their worldview. And it's really fucking gross. It's absolutely disgusting. And I know they don't do it, at least most of them, you know. I mean, I think the Ray Comforts of the world know what they're doing, and would do it anyway. But I think your average everyday Christian just sees somebody. And the woman at the fabric counter even had the audacity. I was like, look, I get it. You saw me with a cane and you thought that maybe you could help. She's like, I swear I didn't even see that you had a cane, even though the cane is in my left hand. And she walked up and literally walked right past me, like looked at me, walked past me, and then stopped and turned back around. And I'm like, maybe you didn't consciously do it,
Yeah.
but subconsciously something clicked in your brain that I might, you know, because I had a cane, that there was something wrong with me and you thought that your good word would help me. But look, it doesn't help. And like I was nice about it, but I was firm, you know, in that look, you may not see it this way, but you are preying on people when you do stuff like this.
Yeah.
And it's not appropriate.
And that
No.
and that was one thing that really stuck out to me, was that in both of those stories, basically somebody walked by and looked at you with a thought in their head, and one of those thoughts that they had was essentially something along the lines of, this person looks like they're different than me and not doing as well as I am.
There's something lacking.
There's something there they don't have.
That poor thing. Let me go help
You don't have enough
them.
faith.
And
Obviously you don't have enough
if you
faith.
had
You
more
need to
faith,
follow God.
if you had more faith, Kitty, you wouldn't need that cane that I didn't see.
No.
I didn't even see it, but you wouldn't need that
it.
cane
Nope.
if you had more of the
Nope.
thing that I've got, which is why I'm
That's
doing
right.
so great, by the way. Did you know that? That did, and I know that definitely is. It's not
I
the
go to
most
church
charitable.
twice a week, and while I'm at work, I hit on all the young cashiers because I'm just a fucking damn cashier at a store. Anyways,
Because the Lord has blessed me. And
Is
the
it
Lord has
because I
blessed
don't
me
have?
with a job because I'm an idiot.
Is my lack of faith the reason why I'm like doing so bad on my questions tonight?
Maybe.
Actually, it's the lack of
God's
prayer.
testing you.
Yeah.
Or
Questions
maybe
are
it's
specific.
Obama's fault. Like
It's
that
like-
was that
It's
was
Obama's-
in vogue
It's
for a
definitely
while.
not the
Blame
fact.
Obama.
It's definitely not the fact that I have it set on like random questions, and it just happens to occasionally give me like all of the hardest questions at one time. That can't possibly be it.
I mean, I don't think.
No. Kitty, oh, go ahead, SR.
No, I was going to say something nonsense. Go ahead.
You can if you want. I don't care.
No.
So before we wrap this up for the night, Kitty, I've known a lot of people in my life who were like, you know, bipolar on medicine and would, oh, I feel better, and they quit taking it, and then they get all fucked up. And I have known people that are like, oh, I don't need my pain medicine right now. You want to talk about how important pain management is with your medicine?
It really is important.
It's
Like, here's
life.
the thing. I with my patch, it gives me a steady dose of medication, which kind of brings me down to a lower baseline.
Right.
Without that patch, I cannot get out of bed. I am literally just writhing in agony in bed, and I cannot function as an even quasi normal human being, let
Oh,
alone the limitations that I already have with the
right.
medication. And with the breakthrough medications, I don't take those all the time. I do pretty much take them every day, but some days I
Mhm.
only need like I said, I get one pill per day. Some days I might be having a really good day and I don't have to take it at all. And then most days I end up taking, the full pill, so two doses, because again, I break them in half. And then there
Right.
are some days that it's a really bad day and I might take three doses, so one and a half as opposed to just one. It's
Right.
basically a as needed. It's not you take one per day.
PRN.
It's
Right.
you exactly. It's PRN. But, because there are 30 of them, it's essentially one a day.
Right.
And again, like, it varies. There are days where I end up, needing only one dose and days where I need four doses. Those are the really bad days. But again, 5 milligrams, and I'm taking it 2.5 milligrams at a time. And I've been on this same regimen now for almost 8 years since my son was born. He will literally be 8 years old next month. Um, and I finally found something that works for me where I'm not having to constantly increase the dosages
Right.
of things. I'm not having to need more and more pain medicine. And like, if it does get to the point where, because I need to be a bit more active with my son, and I need a little bit more breakthrough meds, the conversation I have with my doctor isn't that I want more pills, but I'd rather go from fives to tens because I only take half. Then that would give me
Yeah.
up to four doses in a day of 2.5. So sticking
Right.
with the 2.5, but just getting,
Yeah. Just
or
spreading it out thinner.
spreading it out.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm not at that point yet. It's been 8 years and I might get to that point eventually, but, it might not. Like, who knows? And
Right.
if we do, remove marijuana from Schedule 1, then, that would also give me another avenue of pain mitigation without having to rely on oral opioids for breakthrough pain. But I don't really foresee being able to function without my patch because I would literally have to be high 24/7 because again, like the burning pain in my leg, it literally feels like my muscles and veins were filled with napalm and set on fire, and then it burns every minute of the day. I can't go in a swimming pool because if the water is colder than a little bit below body temperature,
It
it feels
shocks
no
you.
different. It feels no different than if I shoved my hand in ice water. And I have to wear long socks and I wear leggings under my pants, even in the summer, because putting them on is painful, but then it gives that barrier so the fabric rubbing
Yeah.
against my skin isn't as bad. But, just light rubbing against my skin feels like slicing. And I've dealt with this since I was 19 years old. And I will deal with it until the day I am no longer breathing.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but again, like I have reached a point of acceptance with it that this is
They
my
can't
burden to
do
bear.
anything like put one of those stimulators in your back or anything to
I
make it stop.
had I had a trial for a spinal cord stimulator, and because the area is such a large area, they could maybe alleviate the pain, say, in my knee, but then it would get worse in another area. It was really weird.
Huh.
I had two different spinal cord stimulator trials, and they just could not get it to where it actually gave me any real relief. It would
Hmm.
amplify it in one area and ease it up
Yeah.
in another. It was really weird.
That is
Um,
weird.
but I've tried that. I've tried, nerve blocks, like ganglion blocks, fucking all kinds of injections, infusions, and nothing
Yeah.
has given me any relief. Like, medication is the only thing that has actually given me any quality of life. And that's why I
Hmm.
will, like Ben, speak out against people that want to demonize all opiates. Like, there is a
I
time and a
know.
place. There are some people that other treatments just don't really work for them. And yet, you have people like my dad, he's all fucked up. the VA is trying to take away his pain medication because they're not wanting to prescribe opiates anymore. So they're trying to titrate him down. And he has almost no quality of life anymore since they started the titration. And it just fucking kills me because I know he's probably going to end up fucking unaliving because he can't deal with the pain anymore. Whereas he at least had somewhat of a quality of life, but because of new guidelines coming down the
He can't go
pipeline
see
from
another
there-
doctor or anything outside of the VA.
I mean, I don't
It's
know.
not gonna be
Like,
covered, probably.
yeah, like,
Well, it depends on what kind of insurance if it's just VA insurance, then no. But if
yeah,
he's
he's
got
only got
Medicare or
VA
Medicaid
insurance.
along
He
with
doesn't
it,
have. He doesn't have He doesn't have Medicare or Medicaid.
because
It's
you can
only
get
the
those
VA.
together. Well, depending on the state and everything.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it's also
you guys
Florida.
should look
Florida
into
doesn't
that.
give a fuck.
I know, but still look into it because I think there's other programs out there that can help.
I think
him.
he's trying to, get some other like insurance so that he can go to a private doctor for pain management. But again, it's something like I can see my dad literally like fucking like his flame of life is just going out, and I can see it because he's suffering, and he was
That's how it
doing
was with my
better,
sister. I get
and
it.
then they just want to take away the medication, the one thing that was actually helping him. Because like he's done the acupuncture and the acupressure, the VA covers that. They were like, oh yeah, go get
What
some
the
cupping
fuck?
done, or go get
Oh, great.
acupuncture done, or go get them have a little pin in your fucking earlobe
Yeah.
and have that help with your pain.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's also allow them to go listen to people
chiropractic
read
too.
fucking fairy tales to them. Like, why
And
not? Like,
chiropractic.
let's pay
But
for
have
let's
you
pay for
tried
other
Reiki?
magic.
But
Yeah,
have
yeah.
you tried Reiki?
You shoved a crystal up your ass lately, like
But that's the
fuck
thing.
that.
You're like, go do that kind of
But
thing.
did you
Or go do-
smudge his house? That's what's really important.
Dude,
It's
my
the
dad
You
loves
didn't
white
smudge
paint.
his house. It's the
exorcism.
negative energy.
Actually, my dad and I, whenever he built an outdoor kitchen, the cookhouse, and we'd go out there and grill
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and we'd always have
Right.
some white sage burning because we both love the smell.
Yeah, but that's
Oh yeah, it
different.
smells great, but you're not doing the
That's different.
ceremony.
That's totally fine. Yeah, you don't
And,
think
like,
it's gonna
More
fix
the smoke.
anybody's?
As
My
a former
ex did that when
practicing
we were
witch.
together, and I was like, "Why are you and I together?"
Okay,
But
no.
actually, Heather does that, but it's more of the ceremony of it, not actually the. I don't know how to explain it.
See,
It's just
like,
more. I don't know. I think she
as a-
just likes burning it.
as
It does
a
smell
former
good though.
actual practicing witch, like I actually practiced witchcraft. I was Wiccan for 10 years. It really isn't as much about the ceremony. The ceremony just adds a little extra oomph to it. Like the whole belief system is that negative energies are actually repelled by the sage smoke itself.
Right.
So just doing the burning with nothing else, just walking around with it burning is enough. You can add
No,
extra
I
ceremony
understand
to
that.
charge
I was saying for Heather, not normally.
Do
I'm
you
saying
mean
for
like
her.
just doing the ritual as a way of meditation?
Yeah. And
we all have
I'm totally.
rituals.
By the way, I think meditation is great. If you can meditate, do it. I wish I could. I wish my brain would let me.
Oh.
I have to be so fucking high that when I go to meditate, I fall asleep.
Well, you probably
It's the only
you
way to get my
probably
brain to
do
shut
it.
up.
You probably do it in other ways. Like, I mean, I'm no expert
I kind of
meditator
do.
or anything.
Who is
but-
telling me that, Ben?
Well,
Who
the
was
the
that?
flow state. Have you
What?
heard of that? The idea of the flow state where your body and brain are just so
Yeah, everything's
focused
just
into
in
something.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
and we
that's
all
what I
have
was
shit
gonna
like that,
say.
whether it's washing dishes or
Right.
Yes.
running through medical problems or whatever the fuck it is. You know, we
Yeah,
all have those.
Sniping
somebody
noobs
said
in
that
Call
to
of
me
Duty.
recently.
Yeah.
Somebody said that to me recently. They said that me doing like woodworking and stuff is my form of meditation.
Yeah.
Because it can be very rhythmic.
And I was like,
you
oh
know.
my God, you're right. Because I get so focused on it and I have all these numbers in my, because I only write down shit if I think I might forget it. I usually have all the numbers in my head of whatever I'm doing. This needs to be this many inches. That needs to be that many inches. Like, I don't know how I can keep track of it. One of the reasons I swear to God, I think I'm fucking borderline autistic. But anyways, not the point. So, and there's ADHD. Give it back to me. Where was it? See,
flow state, woodworking, flow state, focus.
yes, and that's what I do. I get really into it, and I'm so hyper focused. I have no idea of what time it is, how long I've been doing it. sometimes I'll look and I'll be like, really? 45 minutes? That's weird. And then sometimes I'm looking, I'm like, 8 hours. I haven't eaten all day. Like literally, I'll just forget to eat.
Too.
I will only pick up coffee or make coffee because I'm like, God, I'm fucking thirsty, or I need something to drink because I'm outside and I got a cigarette hanging out of my mouth and I got the saw and I'm like,
Supposedly, I don't know how true it is, but the story I've heard is that Leonardo da Vinci would get focused on inventions or paintings or something, he'd lock himself away, and the only thing he would eat for weeks on end was pasta with butter and Parmesan cheese. That's what I've heard. So
I've done that
so
before
often,
when I was starving.
It's delicious.
And then I ran out of pasta and I got to rice. And then I ran out of Parmesan. I have eaten rice with every variation of the common condiments in your fridge.
That's good.
Including, because one of my roommates had left it, Heinz 57, which is disgusting. But when you're sick of Worcestershire sauce and ketchup and mustard and mayonnaise and on your rice because you have no other food, it's a nice change of pace.
Hey, people think it's a joke when I say it's Sloth Girl's job to make sure I don't go consecutive days without eating.
Oh, I know, Purple, you and I talked about that.
Yeah, it's not. I can get so focused on a project that I'll go for 3 days without eating or sleeping, and I'll only get up to go to the bathroom and get another drink.
Oh, I'll go to bed and sleep, but it's like 4 hours, and then I'm excited and I got to jump back up and go back to it. That's how it is for me. But the main reason that is because I usually end up doing my woodworking and stuff outside, and then it's dark, and then I can't really do anything. So, yes, Ben.
Oh, so y'all know how frustrated I was with my question set? Okay, so apparently everyone else was too. because it's all based on averages. Oh, so I was like, this is gonna be abysmal of a percentage, which it is. But so is the average. So I'm only 1% below the average. Like the average on this set was, and it's just randomly generated, but 51% for the average. And 50. So, like, you know what? Because I was hard on myself. Well, because here's the thing, though. The last few, because I take boards in less than 2 months now. So it's like my other practice tests that I've been doing recently, I've been getting significantly above the averages on. And then, so I'm used to that high, and now I'm just like, nope, we're back to the averaging 50% again on these, which the boards are based on percentiles. So it's not about your raw score. It's about how less bad than other people you do.
Yes. Congratulations. You sucked less than half of the class.
Yeah, but it's still just like, why?
Hey, Ben, what do you call the guy that graduates last in his class from med school?
I hear this a lot. The answer is not matched into a residency, so still technically a doctor, but without a job, but that has to pay back all his debt. That's the actual answer.
He's a broke soon to be a doctor, and he needs to become a broke soon to be a doctor that can make sure to pay back all of the. I get that.
I need to match into a residency.
That's what I tell anybody that I happen to meet that's younger than me that listens for 5 seconds for any type of advice. My basic advice is just, hey man, you're gonna be poor. Your whole life you're going to be paying for stuff. Like everything costs money. Like I understand that you're standing here right now and you feel like you haven't spent any money. You've lost money. Okay. I'm telling you that. I know how much money I'm spending right now just standing here. And go do things and find places to make money. Like go make money. Like that's what you want to do. That's the advice. Fuck all that nonsense about.
Thank you, Uncle SR.
Don't go to med school. Don't go to med school. It's a train wreck.
I mean, to be fair, I wanted to go to med school, but life got in the way.
I had several doctors tell me not to, and I didn't listen because I'm an arrogant piece of shit and I'm stubborn as fuck. And here I am.
And that's
I don't regret it.
Why you're going to be a doctor soon and awesome because you're fucking hard-headed and stubborn.
We're all like
and
that.
You will dig it apart. No, dude, you will dig it apart down to the fucking molecule until you fucking figure it out. That's why you're going to be an amazing doctor right there.
When you graduate and when you pass your bars, I will make you something special.
I can't believe that I have a year left. Like, this is insanity.
It's not long.
Actually, speaking of making something, I have something else that I can show off. Hold on, let me take my ID out because I'm not going to dox myself on stream. So another thing that I made was this wallet.
Ooh, fancy.
So it's got clear vinyl here, so I can have my ID and stuff, and slip pockets that hold monies. It fits in a standard American bill here, and the 2 magnetic snaps, and then a little zip pouch on the back, and this one's got little skull and crossbones to go
Nice.
to go with the
With
skull
the
on the front.
skull on the outside. Nice.
And it's rainbow zipper and rainbow zipper pull because rainbows are pretty.
Yes,
Probably get some skull
Mage.
ones.
It was not good. I would not recommend it. By the time you get enough to get the rice nice, really, moist, it's and I hate like processed preservative filled shit anyways.
I often
It's
do
just because you're a
both.
super taster.
Did you mention mayo though before Heinz 57? I feel like you said something along the lines of rice and ketchup, rice
Yeah, I
and
had a
mayo,
little bit of
rice and
mayonnaise, so
Worcestershire.
I would mix in like some mayonnaise and ketchup and mustard or something, make
Okay,
like the
okay.
fucking Big Mac sauce or whatever. Like I had condiments and a big huge, and I don't know why we bought it. Somebody wanted to do like a bunch of Mexican food or something
Hey,
because
rice
she
is
was
great.
Hispanic.
Yeah.
So I bought a big ass thing of rice. So when all the food was gone and I had no money left and they were done leeching off of me, I ate rice.
Yep.
Because I had nothing. But for some weird reason, they never ate at home.
Did you
that
see?
literally just now dawned on me. For
Did
2
you see
months,
that?
they didn't eat at home.
Did
They
you
were
see
out
that
eating.
time recently? It was in February. When Stool posted something about posted something about rice, and then posted. I gotta find it because it was Stool being Stool. They're just like, why did you?
I don't know,
find it.
Tubian. They show up about 2 to 4 times per stream. I do.
Hey, at least it's not the one telling us about porn sites and stuff, right? Like,
I don't know.
For
I didn't
those,
see that one.
for
They got it
those,
before I even
what
saw
bugs
it.
what bugs me, and I know this may not be the most important thing, but they post like 5 or 6 in a row, and it's just always, something, whatever, streaming, whatever, blah blah, girls, whatever the fuck it is. But it's like, excuse me, I know where to find good porn. Like, I know how to do this. I've been doing this for a while. I don't need your shitty advice
Right.
on a random YouTube stream. Like, I appreciate it, but you can keep it to yourself. Come on.
Thank you, Kara.
So I found it. It's actually multiple times since
no,
February, where Stool put a timer in his phone for rice, and then he posted on Twitter. Like, he posted a screenshot of his rice timer on Twitter, and he's done this at least 3 times that I can see. And then he also has a timer that he got and
So
posted on
weird.
Twitter for Phoebe's bacon, which was for this stream. But like, Stool, why are you posting your screenshots of your rice timer?
He wants to
on your
to make sure
phone?
that Phoebe's bacon is perfect, even though he's not going to eat it. So
It's
he's got
because
timers.
But
he's
why-
a boomer.
And then I commented on his rice timer. I was like, Stool, why are you posting this on Twitter? And then he's like, because I like rice. Like, okay.
How long did he have left on the timer?
Well, it depends on. There's one that he
just like posted
yeah,
it to, like,
19
count
minutes for
down?
one of them, and there was like the next one is 20 minutes and 49 minutes for Phoebe's bacon, and then
Yeah, so he was like just starting.
he's done this 4 times for rice.
was
Yeah,
just
and then
getting
21
to go.
minutes for the
Well,
he's
if
done
it would-
the rice 4 times.
If he would have posted at like the last like 2-minute mark, like 2 minutes left on the rice, I would have been like, oh, okay, like something like that's prime time right there. If I got 20 minutes left on my rice timer, like I got more than enough time to accomplish a couple of things.
Right.
Like
Let's
2 minutes.
Take
I
a
need to be paying
shower, jerk
attention.
off. Let me
Yeah,
change
I
that.
mean,
Jerk
hell,
off, take a
okay,
shower.
we're
But the
less than
highlight, I
2
have
minutes
to.
to midnight right now. We're at 100 seconds to midnight on
2
the
minutes and 5 minutes.
doomsday clock.
See, I
So,
have
mean,
to say
2-minute
this
countdown.
though.
Shit's gotten real.
Yeah,
I have to say this:
Yep.
the highlight of my life, like the absolute highlight of my life, was SR meeting Stool for the first time on stream.
I know,
Oh, I
right?
wish I
That
could
is
have been
like my favorite thing in this whole world.
No, it's
It
good
was-
shit. Stool's funny.
Stool is like Moxie. It's an acquired taste.
You know, it's
Yeah.
funny because when I first saw Stool, and I told him this like a year ago, when I first saw him, I thought he was irritating as fuck. And I didn't know who he was. And I was like, who is this pompous asshole? You know, so I thought he was just being a dick. And then I saw him somewhere else, and I was like, I want to watch their stream. And it might have been like Lavender Ladies or Purples or something. I don't remember. And I was like, well, I want to watch the stream. I'll just deal with it. And him and Bionic Dancer on there, and they love to fucking pick at each other. They love to give each other shit. And I was like, God, these people are just assholes. And then it dawned on me after a while that Stool's really a nice guy. He's just so fucking sarcastic and says the weirdest shit you'll
So
ever hear in your life. But for some reason, the weird shit he says is fucking hilarious. It makes no sense and has nothing to do with the context, but the way he writes it, it's fucking hilarious. And it doesn't even make sense that it's funny. It doesn't
like-
mean
Verbal
anything.
artist.
I like that he calls everybody perverts all the time because
Yeah,
I love
he's
doing
pervert.
that. I love telling somebody
'Cause
like
he's
somebody.
such a pervert.
Yeah.
That's why he calls everybody.
That's my coworker the other day said something, and it just was totally innocuous. It was just like, "Oh yeah, I put that item in there," and I was just like, "Oh yeah, I bet you did." She was like, "Wow," and I was like, "What, you perv? I was saying you were doing a good job with the inventory." Like, she's like, "Oh come on, like come on," and I was like, "That's gross." Like you need to go sit in the back for a minute and just chill
We're
out.
gonna have a conversation with HR.
Yeah. This is
Oh
terrible.
man, you're killing
I need
me,
to
bro.
share. I need to share my compilation video.
Do it. Do
while
it.
we're
It's
here, and
hilarious.
since I can share
Oh no.
on this channel.
It's good because I'm
Mm.
getting high, so it's
Yeah,
almost bedtime.
no, I made a video of Stool because I think he's funny. And then, of
Actually, I
course,
am
he's the
pretty
only
high.
one that has commented on it. I have it as unlisted because I don't want people like having this be the first video they ever see of my channel. Is a compilation.
I don't know
of
why.
Stool.
I don't know why you feel that way. I feel like
so-
I've seen
Because the
it, but-
Twitch is for fucking around.
Yeah.
YouTube is.
Oh,
for
I sent
messaging.
this to you, SR. I sent it.
I
You
think
sent
it's
it
a
to me,
great
too.
video.
Oh, it's so
Yeah,
funny.
bro.
Make sure my audio is all the way up though. Okay. Where's Stool? I want Stool to come in here.
I should have warned you that the longer I go without sleep, the worse my jokes get.
Also, if you say Quiplash 3 times, Stool will show up in your chat.
Did you say it 3 times? Damn, I thought we were only. At
I
2
did.
and a
I
half.
didn't. But I did say Stool, and then Stool showed up in my chat.
Yeah, you did say stuff.
I'm so beautiful.
Peepus Castle.
I want you all to kiss me. I'm so beautiful. I haven't had a wee wee. Buy me some coffee. Make me a nice sandwich. And let's all do the peepus.
Every time you watch this, you have to watch a different person's reaction because it's priceless. I'm definitely clipping that out.
But
And
do you think you would be happy as a sandwich?
and then Purple's
Did
line.
you
that
see-
should happen.
Did
Get
you
a
see how
plunger.
my cat saved me and
Wear your
covered me up?
gloves.
Yeah.
Gloves, go ahead.
Here, I gotta start that clip.
Put a little bit of jizz in your saxophone. Do it.
Oh, we didn't. Hold on. I go back a little bit.
Get a plunger.
There we go.
Wear your gloves. Put a little bit of jizz in your saxophone. Do a dance in your jazz shoes. Push that plunger. Push that plunger. Good. Pull the plunger. Pull the plunger. And you'll grow a new dick. Yay.
I love the
Yes.
yay at the end.
And also, you know, the queen might be there.
Oh, this is
She
when I was having
is the
internet
doggy
issues, isn't it?
queen, young and lean on a tangerine.
On a titch.
What's she talking on that?
It makes no sense.
Whoever's clipping that. I hope someone's clipping that.
I want to date. I want to date the queen.
I used to have a life. So, we don't like bagels, we all know this, but think about this. Nuts. Nuts are basically the devil's testicles. They're wrinkly, they're small, and when you put them in your mouth, you're gonna choke. Kind of like that guy with his gimp mask did earlier when he was bent over and gagging. You know him?
I made the exact
Never
same
suck on the
face.
devil's nuts. Just saying.
Nobody can say a
Because
word.
SR needs to meet Stool.
I'm very happy Stool's here.
Hey.
SR,
Hi,
I'm
Mel.
sorry.
I'm
How
the
are you, Mel?
sex muffin. I'm here to do the sex with your muffins.
Stool, calm down.
So
I asked Mel how she is. I haven't seen her in like a month.
yeah, we were
Grab
being
my
real
muffins.
serious,
Not either,
Stool.
but
Yeah,
whatever.
That's how he gets thrown out of bakeries. He's caught having sex.
that was
with
my
a
favorite
muffin.
part.
Every
Mel.
single time.
I like
But I
how
want
Phoebe
to
had to
see
put
I
in
gotta,
her thing.
I gotta show that. I gotta show
Not-
that. Because notice the thumbnail that he made.
Yeah, the farmer. It's Ben.
Well, yeah, no, but look at the title at this SR. Look at the title.
Dr. Bensley, the rhubarb.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
did you guys notice that Phoebe changed her
Yep.
name to
We
not
did.
British and not associated with schools? Like,
Yeah.
get that shit right out of there. I am not I am not
I forgot
countryman.
she did that.
He's not my
Thank you.
countryman. He nope.
And
Nothing
here,
You're not
to do with-
and
related.
here
I
is
don't
the
know him.
original, like my favorite clip from Stool.
But I want to sing Emu Sperm.
Oh my god. Why is this a musical now?
I miss the emu sperm.
But you missed
Emu
it.
sperm.
I didn't miss you.
Didn't miss you.
Bolt's gonna play the character named
Notice
Emu
how
Sperm. Neil the 604 atheist is the
I
only one in
didn't
the
miss
chat
you.
except for Bolt. I will play the gardener.
That's always a wise move.
It's always
So
a wise
that's
move.
that is
He said, "I will play the gardener," and he said, "It's always a wise move," and that was
Yeah.
the last thing.
well, that's our musical.
Oh, fucking Stool!
Oh my gosh.
That
Why is
guy.
Stool?
What a character.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Anyways,
watched that
what do you
video and
guys think?
SR's face the whole time.
What do you guys
Yeah,
think?
it sounds like we can wrap up. It's been
Yeah, I mean,
2.5
it's almost
hours.
10:30. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually get to sleep in a little bit and wake up at 6 instead of 5. So
Oh,
You need it.
goody!
You need the sleep.
You can wake up
Yes.
30 minutes before me.
I
All
still
right,
have to
well-
take this off and take my medication so I can fall asleep in 2 hours.
See, that's a good reason not to put it on. You gotta take it back off.
No,
Anyways,
see, Ukraine. Like, come on.
Mhm.
Like, we were talking on Gigi's stream and here talking about Ukraine. So, like,
no, I can appreciate the support. I can appreciate the support for them. I was just teasing you because you're one of
Love
those people that
Ukraine.
doesn't really need the makeup, but yet you put it on to take it back off. Anyways, point being, we're gonna wrap this shit up. Thank you everybody in the chat for coming by and hanging out and having a good conversation and some good laughs. And I love the fact that you notice there's no fighting in my chats. Nobody
Oh.
fights.
We're pretty awesome.
We can change that if
Everybody-
you want.
No,
I can
shut
start
your
a
mouth,
fight.
Purple.
I mean, I
we're
could
not
start
doing
saying
that.
literally a bunch and trigger Stool or, refuse to cover up the girls because Stool's always, like, hyper-focused on my cleavage. So, that could start
Yes,
a fight
he
if you
is.
want. But the fun
And he
kind.
does hate it when you say literally.
No
It's so
inciting a
funny.
fight or a
Literally hate
riot.
it so damn much when I say literally.
Anyway,
literally
Kitty. To this
anyways,
day,
one more comment, Purple, and then we're wrapping it up. Go ahead.
my highest viewed chat on my channel is because Kitty was on and YouTube, picking a random thumbnail from the chat, grabbed a picture of Kitty leaning into the camera showing all her cleavage. So that is the highest rated chat on my channel.
And
Oh
you
my
know
God,
what?
I fucking love you right now. That's
Here's the thing.
hilarious.
My boobs bringing more eyeballs to your screen, I think they are doing a service to the world. Like
right.
Helen and Betsy here.
That's
Yes,
right.
they are named, and no, I didn't name them. But Helen and Betsy, they got a little screen time, and they're doing you a solid. And I'm okay with it because
Mhm.
they're just boobs. Who cares?
Anyways, so now that we're
yeah.
done with that, thank you, ladies, for your boobish comments, I guess. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate all of you. Ben, you're my bro, you know it. Kitty, thanks for stopping by. It was nice to have you around for a change.
Yeah, it's been a
Purple, thank you for your brilliance, and I'm glad you're able to make your headset work until your new one comes in.
Oh no,
SR,
I got my new one today.
oh, did you?
Yep,
Good.
this was my new one.
Good. Okay, good. I thought you did a hell of a patch job on the old one. SR, thank you for coming by and not only adding to the good conversation, but also being a guinea pig for us to pick on. We really appreciate it.
Always
So
fun.
everybody out
SR.
there, take care of yourselves. Take care of
Okay,
one
good
another.
night, all.
And have some peace in your life.